Huh?
3 to Chris in the promo bunker.
Our Speed Weeks coverage continuing tomorrow. The Camping World Truck Series, followed on Saturday by the Xfinity Series, and then the Great American Race on Sunday. So it's a triple header across our Fox and FS1 channels. Remember, the new stage racing goes into effect on all 3 series. So you'll see it for the first time in trucks, Xfinity, and then, of course, on Sunday, the pre-race show, 1 o'clock Eastern, as we count you down to the 59th running of the Great American Race. And we know that we got a couple of Chevrolets on the front row. In fact, 1997, Hendrick Motorsports swept the top 3 finishing positions in that Daytona 500 as the drivers get ready to go and are anxious without practice in duel number 1. 21 cars going at it. So let's head down trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the Naval Air Station Jacksonville Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Sonny Gallman from Central Baptist Church in Daytona Beach, Florida, offers our invocation.
Let us pray. God of love, we thank you for the grace that you pour out upon us, the grace of friends and family that we share this moment with, and the grace of clouds that are steered clear on this night. We pray that you would be a God who heals the divides that separate us. Be with the drivers and with their crews, keep them safe, and be with the troops of every stripe and color around the world, that those who work for peace might find your grace. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome from Palm Coast, Florida, Melissa Trumbull.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let's hear it.
Glad to have you a part of it. Daytona ready for racing. Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. It's the first of 2 races live on FS1. I'm kidding. No, he did. Nice job, Cody. I
really think Chris is at the point in life where he's kidding because he doesn't care.
Yes. And we're live at Daytona. Moments ago, when Michael was the roving reporter, remember he's racing in the second duel. He handed off to Dale Earnhardt Jr., who wisely threw it back to the professional broadcasters. And, it's an old broadcasting tip, Michael. As an Emmy Award winner, I might pass this along to you. You never give up the microphone. Of course, you were going to the stage. You had to greet your fans.
That's right. I had to be introduced, but I sure do appreciate your mentoring that you do for me.
Oh, boy. If I get any credit for mentoring you.
I'm your prize student. How does that make you feel?
That's 2 careers down the drain. All right, let's get back to the professional drivers. Hey, Daniel Suarez, first race here, obviously in the 19 car for Carl Edwards. We saw him in the Clash. He finished 8th the other day, but this is a little bit different points. You can actually get some points here.
And I think he checked a lot of boxes last Sunday in that Clash, Chris. He ran up front. He made some good moves. He got a top 10 finish. I think that kid has a little bit more confidence tonight than he did before that race started Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see Martin Truex Jr. We'll also see Trevor Bayne, the 2011 Daytona 500 upset winner.
And there's Truex. They had a lot of problems in initial inspection with their cars. Have they got that behind them? Are they going to have a car strong enough to compete and win tonight? I know Darrell likes them. I'm not sure they're ready for the task.
How much actual Matt Kenseth, who had the different look with the beer, they're getting his car ready. The teamwork, the Toyotas and the Fords. The Ford said, hey, we got to break up the Toyotas. How much will we see tonight, depending upon who's with who in which duel?
Well, you're split up, so you can't really rely on your teammates so much. And I loved what we saw in the Clash. Those Fords got together and they attacked those Toyotas. If the shoe was on the other foot, you'd have seen Toyota doing the same thing. So it's going to be fun to watch these manufacturers battle.
And there's Joey Logano, who won the 2015 Daytona 500 from Middleton, Connecticut. And, of course, he won the Clash the other day. That was an exciting race.
Oh, it was one of the best races I've ever seen in Daytona. The way they were able to mix up the positions, fight for the lead, and then on the last lap, contact before Joey Logano drives to victory lane.
And the pole sitter, Chase Elliott, you chatted with him. He said if you're going to win out there, this was his quote, and you're in a pack and your car is not driving well, there's an opportunity to crash. But he said, I'd rather find that out early than in the Daytona 500, which we're counting you down to. So let's head back to the track and get ready for the duel.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Vice President of Business Transformation and Operations for BRP and the Can-Am brand, Martin Susi.
Drivers, start your engine!
Those behind the wheel are ready to roll. And so are we. Sort of. You'll be in the second duel. He'll need his helmet when he gets there. The guys will call it for you. Back upstairs, Jeff Gordon, Darrell Waltrip. They made it from the Hollywood Hotel, joined by Mike. Joy, have fun tonight. We're looking forward to this.
Thank you, Chris. We will. I told a group of friends earlier, I have no idea what will happen tonight. Up till 20 seconds ago, I didn't even have analysts. The big question, with no practice in race trim, how careful, how cautious? You don't use word cautious in a race like this. How cautious will everybody be?
Well, I think that's the thing that we're going to really interestingly watch is, risk versus reward. I think there's guys that haven't had a lot of practice. They haven't had any time in their car. Guys are still adjusting their mirrors. And it's windy, so there's a lot of things that they got to consider. This competition yellow will probably come at just about the right time for most of them.
But, Jeff, you're a driver of the simulation generation where the team engineers and the crew chiefs say, here's what we know, here's what we've got underneath you, you'll be fine.
Well, I'm curious to see if we're going to see sparks fly. And I'm talking about underneath the cars. These crew chiefs, they love to get the heights of the cars just right for handling and for speed. But also sparks flying because they've not had any time to draft. They have no idea if the cars are going to handle good. I think mid-pack, these cars are going to be a little bit edgy. Those up front, they want to stay up front.
A little different racetrack too, Mike, with the rain.
Yes, green racetrack from rain. What will happen next? What will happen is the Can-Am Duel live from Daytona on FS1.
Barry wants you on. He's got stuff to go over.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
One question or two?
Where'd my notebook go?
Sign there in front of us.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Barb.
What way do you think would help you best with it, up or down?
Thank you, dear. Oh, crap. Oh, heck.
It's always
Hey,
something.
Joey Logano, Jeff Gordon, you got me?
Yes, sir, I got you.
All right, I'll be coming to you in a little bit.
All right, I'll be right here.
So, yeah. Brendan Gaughan is locked in.
Yeah.
Reed Sorensen is next. Corey LaJoie can only race in. He can't time in.
Okay.
So he's got to beat both those guys.
Okay.
That's his only shot.
Okay. Okay. Oh, lights. Nice.
Well, for the moment, not during the race. Good.
How can it not be good?
All right.
I love this race.
All bets are off when you're doing it for real.
Green flags in the air, and the Can-Am Duel is underway.
Do you feel the intensity starting to pick up just a little wee bit?
Already
The favorite.
He's such a talented race car driver.
Oh,
He's going to be one to watch.
That is one powerful race car.
whoa, hang on.
Do her, son.
Everybody wants to win this race.
No. What a mess. All bets are off. Go time. It's all or nothing right now. You either in or you out.
It's the Can-Am Duel at Daytona on FS1. The Daytona 500 field is split in half in these dual races to set the starting lineup for the 59th Daytona 500. Race 1, here is your starting lineup. Chase Elliott wins the pole for the second straight year. Brad Keselowski, winner here in July. Martin Truex, runner-up in the closest 500 ever last year, and Kevin Harvick, now in a Ford, 2013 Duel winner. Matt Kenseth has won this race twice. Kyle Busch 3 times. They're teammates in Toyotas. Ricky Stenhouse finished 10th last year in his Ford, and Daniel Suarez is a rookie in a Joe Gibbs Toyota. Joey Logano won the Clash on Sunday. Trevor Bayne won the 500 in 2011. Paul Menard, 4th in this race in 14. Jamie McMurray, the 2010 500 winner. Eric Almirola won the July race here 3 years ago. And Landon Castle. Matt DiBenedetto and Chris Buescher in row number 8. Brendan Gaughan locked into the field on speed. He starts alongside Cole Witt in row 9. Reed Sorensen has to try to race his way in next to Joey Gase, who appears in his first duel. And rookie Corey LaJoie has only one chance to get in the 500, and that's by racing his way in tonight. Well, let's take a look at who could be ahead of the pack, brought to you by Coyote Tractors. Daryl, who do you like?
I like, in this race, I think I'm going to take Martin Truex. They've had a tough week. I know they've struggled a lot with their cars, but I'm going to say he's going to have a car to beat tonight.
So then you're forcing me to take your early pick of the meeting,
Oh,
Joey
I would take
Logano.
Logano.
No, you're fine.
Sorry about that.
He's switching up on us. Well, I'm taking Keselowski. He looked really good in the Clash. Hey, why don't we dial up our 9th starter here today and the previous Daytona 500 winner, Joey Logano. Joey Logano, this is Jeff Gordon up to FS1 booth. You got me?
Race aggressive. Get a trophy at the end.
Well, I think we know what his plan is. Hey, Joey, this is Jeff up in the FS1 booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Gotcha.
Well, you're certainly off to a great start in Speed Weeks with the win in the Clash. Besides a win here tonight, what are you looking forward to getting out of this duel?
Well, there's a lot of points on the line now with the new format here, especially here at Daytona with this, where the duels are. There's some points on the line, so gives everyone something to race for here. So I think the duels are going to be a little bit different than what you typically see. So I'm excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. There'll be a lot of things going on, and probably sparks flying at night here.
Well, you know, I'm curious that you bring that up about the points. I mean, there's some that are saying, oh, it's not going to make a big difference. Others are saying, yeah, it's going to make me more aggressive. Are you going to try to go out and capture those points and make this Daytona 500 worth more points than it's ever been?
Yeah.
I think maybe his team might have been talking to him there.
All right, let's call that a yes, and let's get to pit road for late-breaking stories, beginning with Matt Yoakum.
Mike, the learning process continues for Kevin Harvick and his new Ford. Huge gains were made during the daytime Clash race on Sunday. They made a lot of gains in the handling department, especially in the draft. Tonight, though, the agenda finished the car all in one piece, earned some points for the new point system, but the biggest challenge, those significant wind gusts off turn 4. Jamie Little?
Well, it has been a stressful speed weeks for Martin Truex Jr. and the 78 team. When they unloaded last weekend, they failed pre-race inspection multiple times, and that forced the team to work on this car, basically rebuild it. They were very impressed and surprised by qualifying top 5 on Sunday, but tonight they have no idea how this race car will handle in the draft. But one thing is certain, if they win this duel, that'll be just the boost they need going into Sunday. Vince?
Well, it's fitting that Eric Almirola's team slogan is fueled by bacon, because through the years, the 43 and Daytona have gone together like bacon and eggs. If it's going to be a feast for Eric Almirola and company tonight, he says it's going to come by being aggressive. He said you won't learn anything tonight for Sunday because the conditions are so different. Tonight is about one thing. It's about winning the duel. And he wants to feast on it, and he'll do it by being aggressive with the wheel. Chris Neville?
Well, for Matt Kenseth, tonight is the last dress rehearsal for his crew before the Daytona 500. 4 of the 6 pit crew are new this year, and all the practice they've had in the offseason, well, that does help with chemistry, but everything on the racetrack, so much more important. Jason Ratcliffe told me earlier that he could have an entire team of Heisman Trophy winners, but if they don't work well together, it doesn't matter. Larry?
Yeah, Chris, I don't envy any of those crew chiefs down there. No drafting with these cars. Let's take a look at the weather. The best thing you need to know here, no rain. The rain is gone. You can see the track and the air temp pretty close. A lot of grip in the racetrack, and the wind's blowing as hard as it has all week, a kind of a headwind. Now let's take a look at our race analysis. 60 laps, 150 miles, pit road speed 55 miles per hour. The fuel window 44 to 48 laps. Big deal here, competition caution lap 25. You cannot fuel the car before that caution, and Reed Sorensen in the 55 car to the rear for a transmission change, Mike.
Thanks, Larry. Pace car up in turn number 4. Since early morning, Mother Nature's been playing peekaboo with the speedway. It'd be sunny. You'd get soaked. The sun would come back out. You'd get soaked. But they've got this track dry and ready to race. And every position you finish ahead of another car is another row you start closer to the front on Sunday in the Great American Race. For Reed Sorensen and Corey LaJoie, one will race on to Sunday, one will go home. Pace car is in, getting ready to go for the first of the Can-Am Duel. Green flag is in the air. Chase Elliott leads them across.
Yeah, as these cars head into 1 and 2, I'm really anxious to see what Chase Elliott learned last year on these restrictor plate tracks. He's back on the pole, but has he gained the experience and knowledge that he needs to keep these competitors and these veterans behind him?
Mike, I hated to do the old switcheroo on you on the 78-22,
okay.
but you asked me first, so I took 78. Because a little birdie told me he's going to be really good tonight.
Wow, I think power move right there by Chase Elliott in the 24. Did a little side drafting off the 2 car. Goes into the lead.
Now on the inside row, or inside lane that is, Martin Truex Jr. Here's what he was concerned about on the pace lap.
Brake pedal don't feel awesome. Copy that. Just getting not staying up or what? It's just low every time after I bump it. It gets low and then it pulls to the left. 10-4. Yeah, I got 90 over minutes to work on.
Ooh, that is not comforting. Certainly, that won't play out too much here in the draft. Some drivers will drag the brake a little bit as we see a pass for the lead. Keselowski going by Chase Elliott.
We've seen this. I mean, when this 2-car gets out in front, he really is he's a magician. Look at Chase.
Right here, this is exactly what I was talking about. It's so important to watch those mirrors and make sure that these veterans don't take you 3 wide like what just happened to Chase Elliott.
Yeah, Ford's on the inside, Toyota's on the outside. Chase Elliott, the only Chevrolet to start in the top 10, has no friends near the front of this field.
Well, he learned. It's a pretty quick study, though, because he jumped right back in that outside line, got right behind, I think, Kyle Busch it is. So he figured that out in a hurry.
He didn't lose much there.
No. But that 2-car, Mike, when he gets out front, watch this guy. I mean, he works one lane, then he switches over and works the other lane. He's a real magician at moving around and getting the line that's got to push. That's the line he gets in front of.
Here comes Harvick up the inside in the number 4. Kyle Busch to the outside in his Toyota.
Woo, son, that was a little dicey getting in there.
And that's the trouble spot, getting into the corner through that transition. We saw off of turn 4, off of that transition, some cars have some real issues in the clash.
Watch what happened to Kyle Busch.
This is watch this moment.
Number 18.
Getting a little bit of a push.
Ooh, push.
Ooh. Now, as long as Chase Elliott's on the right side of that bumper, he'll be okay, but if he had been about 6 to 8 inches further to the left on that bumper, that would have spun him right out.
But Jeff, we're 3 laps into this race. I'm not sure I'd be wanting to make that kind of a move right now.
Yeah, that was a little bit aggressive. Certainly he had a nice run. He was trying to get the 18 pushed by Kevin Harvick to get that spot. And look what this has done. Trevor Bayne got a run to the inside, took him 3 wide, and Chase is now falling back just a little bit.
Yeah, I think Chase is a little frustrated. All of a sudden he finds himself started on the pole. Now he's finding himself drifting back in the pack. I think he might have gotten a little frustrated right there.
What gets so tricky in this race, you're going to see some, like Trevor Bayne, who really put his nose in there to make it 3 wide and be more aggressive. But you've got Chase Elliott. He's got a car that can start this race on Sunday on the front row, on the pole for the Daytona 500. It's risk versus reward right now.
Yep.
Third car to the inside has snuck up with a couple of his teammates. That's Matt Kenseth, the number 20. And it's Ford versus Toyota at the front.
But what do you notice here? We see the 18 and 78 and the 20 down here's lurking around a little bit. They're trying to get hooked up and do that teammate thing, work together.
What happened to Harvick? Where did he go?
He's drifting back a little bit, but he's right there and just now going to fall in behind the 18. Okay. He's still in pretty good shape.
Well, I'm really curious to see, do these Toyotas have a plan like what we've seen them do so well in the past? They've set the benchmark for how manufacturers work together. We saw the Fords do a great job of that in the Clash. Not a lot of Chevrolets, at least teammates for Chase Elliott, for him to do that with. But, I think it's really a manufacturer's battle brewing here as we start the 2017 season.
Yeah, you might have seen those Toyotas last year do that and run as well as they did. You might say, well, they just did that last year. But I think they've set a pattern, and I think these other teams are catching on to it, and they're going to kind of break that Toyota group up if they can.
The Toyota group has been bolstered by a second car at Furniture Row for Eric Jones, and the Ford camp has added Stewart Haas Racing 4 strong cars. Trevor Bayne drops to the bottom, passes Harvick, moves up to 3rd.
Strong move by Bayne there.
Chris Neville.
And Mike, we've seen those Toyotas work so well together for the last 12 months. And I spoke with Jason Redcliffe about that today. And he said one thing that's been interesting this year is it's been much more difficult in the Clash for those cars to get together. And he said, we're expecting that again tonight and again on Sunday. We're having to coordinate a lot more to get together because the other teams, they're realizing that and making it tough for us.
Yeah, Chris, we've seen that in practice. They work together. They'll move up the track and let another car go and fill that gap. They really have got this orchestrated down to a science.
Ooh, Bayne got loosened up there. There was contact, and that white number 6 almost went sideways.
Yeah, I think it was McMurray that definitely got into the back of him, and that was a moment.
Kyle Busch to the bottom. He wants the lead.
Pass for the lead.
Look at Keselowski get down that door.
And now look at Harvick coming up to help Keselowski and push him. back to the front. All right, watch car number 1 coming off turn number 4. You'll see what happened to the 6 of Trevor Bayne.
Whoa,
wow.
My goodness, that was so close.
Now, really, that was just McMurray getting a run, and he saw where maybe Bayne had been running a little bit wide off of turn 4, and he was going to make that move, but it was such an aggressive move that when he got there, Bayne decided to try to block it. They touched it a little bit. It's amazing we didn't have a wreck right there.
And here we are, Jeff, we're 8 laps into this race, and I mean, we know we're going to have a yellow 25. These guys are driving pretty aggressive in a qualifying race.
It's extremely aggressive, if you ask me. And knowing that there's going to be a competition caution coming up, there's going to be some pit stops. They're really working hard to try to get track position from lap 1.
NASCAR having a look at the left rear of Joey Logano's Ford.
I see some sparks flying there. Yeah.
Well, I certainly know. You know, this car drug a lot in qualifying. And some say that was part of the reason why, as we see McMurray make this same move on the inside now on the 34, Landon Castle.
I don't see anything wrong with the 22. That may be the skirts stripping along the track a little bit. I don't see any major problem.
So there are a lot of sparks out of him qualifying. They still haven't been on track to practice before this race. I'm wondering, have they still not gotten the heights right?
We'll keep an eye on him and McMurray, because Jamie McMurray was one of the most aggressive in the clash on Sunday at abruptly switching lanes. Vince.
Well, and when he did switch lanes, he switched right in front of that 43 car of Eric Almirola. And to build on the conversation I had with Almirola before he climbed into the car, he said, I looked at a lot of video from previous dual races, and he said it always seemed like the guys who were most aggressive to stay up front were the ones that finished up front. He said, I'm going to be aggressive, because if not, in the duel, you get swallowed up. And I think we're seeing that from a little bit of everybody tonight.
Well, he's not swallowed up, but he's gargling. He's in 12th. Got to get going.
He needs air fast.
Kevin Harvick briefly held the lead. Brad Keselowski back to it.
You know, guys, I talked to a lot of crew chiefs this morning in the garage area, in particular Paul Wolf, crew chief for Brad Keselowski. And with the grip the track has, they weren't really worried about being real loose or the car being real tight. To you guys' point, they were worried about getting the heights right. Like he said, they're so aero sensitive, we don't want it bottoming out, but we want that splitter sealed right to the racetrack.
Yeah, and Larry, we just
side skirts, right,
haven't
Larry?
seen many sparks out of any of the cars. The 22 is the only one I've really seen with some baby sparks coming out.
11 laps complete. Brad Keselowski has led 10 of the 11 in his number 2. 14 laps complete. Brad Keselowski still your leader. Ford, Toyota, and Chevy. Jamie McMurray in third. Now, Joey Logano made a pit stop. His car is in front, but it's getting lapped after making a green flag pit stop. He had a bad vibration, and he came in. Here's what Logano had to say under stress.
Wheel vibration, get back quick, gotta jump out of this. Wave them off if you can. Just stay up at the top. They're coming below. They're coming below. Wheel vibration, get ready, guys.
Matt?
Mike, Car Chief Raymond Fox, Travis Geisler, competition director. They looked at the right front. You could see oblong holes in the wheel where the wheel was indeed loose. That was the vibration issue for Logano.
We're told it was the right front wheel on Joey Logano's car, so he is 1 lap down. If we go green to the competition caution at lap 25, he will get the free pass, get back on the tail end of the lead lap. So
well, he's being pretty aggressive right here.
Oh, yeah,
I think he wants to get it before they get to that competition caution.
He can hang right there. He got in line, and now he's in good shape. But I tell you, a guy that is driving is about as aggressive as I would want someone to drive in this kind of a race. Is that Jamie McMurray? I tell you, he's switching lanes. He's pushing people. He's pretty aggressive here.
Well, I thought it was really interesting what Eric Almirola was referring to through Vince's report, being aggressive. We heard Dale Jr. talk about that. He said, if you want to get to the front and stay there, you got to be super aggressive in how you block those lanes, how you use your mirrors, as well as how you get side drafts and take momentum and go. He gave that advice to Alex Bowman, and now we're seeing all these drivers talk about that.
Yeah, he said if he had an opening, take it.
That's right.
Don't be hesitant.
McMurray was very aggressive in the clash, but because he wasn't running up at the front, it wasn't quite as noticeable as it is right now, as Jamie Mack is right on the bumper of Brad Keselowski for the lead, and side by side, Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth for third.
Those cars look so easy to drive, don't they, Jeff? I mean, they're hard. They're just, I bet you could probably just drive them one hand.
Trevor Baynes didn't look real easy to drive off of turn 4 when Jamie McMurray was going 3 wide.
It always amazed me how they jump around. I mean, they're just all over the place.
We have veterans, we have champions, we have rookies, and one of the most heralded is the Xfinity Series champion, Daniel Suarez. Jamie.
He's in the 19 mid-pack. Remember, he just found out a month ago he was going to be competing in Cup full-time, and he's only been in one race. It was last Sunday, the Clash. He did a really nice job, finished 8th. He has been watching video, though, for this night, talking to his team, learning as much as he can. Right now, though, he's all by himself. His 3 teammates are ahead of him. He's trying to figure out how to get up there to work together to learn for Sunday.
He's a quick study, I tell you. I've really been impressed with Daniel Suarez and what he's done here the first few days in these Cup cars.
Well, we like to follow the trends. Did Joey Logano set one with that perhaps loose wheel on the right front, Matt? What is Brad Keselowski saying?
Mike, Team Penske at the front. You documented the 22's issues. Something similar going on with the 2 of Keselowski. Now, he hasn't talked about it about the last 4 laps or so, but he did report in that he had some sort of vibration on the deuce.
And Mike, sometimes that's just from your head. You know, your teammate had a loose wheel. All of a sudden you think, oh, gee, I think I got a loose wheel. It just kind of filters down.
What Keselowski has is a pretty unshakable lead.
Yeah, and he's got a pretty nice helper now.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, is Logano thinking to himself, hey, I'll just ride this out till we get to the break? Or is he saying, I want to get back in the lead lap and get myself better track position? I don't want to start at the tail end when I get my lap back.
He wants to get that lap back, because I think if he can get that lap back, he would just do fuel only, because he has much fresher tires. He possibly would be leading the race.
I agree, Larry.
Well, or he just wants to stay right there and be the first car lap down and get that lap back.
But then he's going to have to start at the tail end of the field.
That's right. And the teams, if they make a pit stop before the competition caution, they are not permitted to add Sunoco race fuel until the caution at lap 25.
I think
Sunday in the daytime, the low line worked. Everybody wanted the short way around. Where's Keselowski leading this pack? Around the high side of the speedway.
I think the leader decides that. If he feels confident that the person in second place is going to follow him, he knows that a caution's coming up here in a few laps, and he's going to take that high line. We've seen Dale Jr. do a great job of this as well. As long as you're confident they're going to ride in line behind you, nothing wrong with taking that high line.
And Mike, there may be a deal being made with Keselowski and Joey Logano that when we get down here to 24 laps to go, I'm going to let you you go by and you can get that lap back.
I'm pretty impressed here with Chase Elliott in the 5th position. He fell almost all the way to the back of this field, and he was being pretty aggressive, 3 wide up the middle, and now here he is right there in the 5th position.
And look who's right with him in that 34, Landon Castle. Vince.
Castle started 14th. He's been up running around the top 5 as you see Kevin Harvick go inside of Castle in the 34. Castle said the balance is okay, but it was odd. He said, when I go down the straightaway, it doesn't feel like the car wants to go straight. That could be an issue.
We've been talking and documenting what turn 4 is like. We haven't talked about the straightaway, but I tell you, I've seen some cars get to other cars' bumpers and really move them around down that back straightaway. So that might have a lot to do with Landon Castle's comments.
That's where the cars are the lightest. The back of the car is up in the air just a little bit. There's no banking to hold the car. There's no side force to hold the car. Cars are hard to drive in a straight line.
22 laps complete, 3 laps to the competition caution. As they come to the line, I see Keselowski moving aside. Here comes Joey Logano to Larry's point. He gets back on the lead lap, but Kyle Busch, Jamie McMurray, and others will have something to say about that.
Wow, look at that push by Jamie McMurray.
They got it pushing so hard they're sparking, man. Woo! Yeah, I don't think there's a deal being made here. I think Logano's in a great place. He had 2 options. Maybe his teammate let him get that lap back. If he doesn't, he gets back on the lead lap with the free pass. I think he felt like he was in pretty good shape. Don't take any real serious chances.
Matt?
No deals. It's all in the hands of Brad Keselowski. What he feels the most comfortable with, that's what the team said. It's all up to the 2.
He's not comfortable now. Kyle Busch took a big side draft on Keselowski to try to edge ahead with the lead.
Well, the first thing I was going to say is we've seen a lot of passing. We have not seen a lot for the lead, but then all of a sudden out of nowhere, here comes Kyle Busch getting to the quarter panel of Brad Keselowski and making a big move.
McMurray right there in the 1. Logano 22 a lap down. Harvick and Almirola, as he predicted, has worked his way forward up into the top 8 in that petty blue 43.
I just think you bide your time. Some of these guys are just biding their time. They know there's going to be a caution here. Don't do anything dumb and get to the caution and then go from there.
How fast is bide?
Depends on who you ask.
I don't see anybody biding their time right now.
Nope.
It seems like everybody wants to be leading when this caution comes out for the competition caution.
That's Matt Kenseth alongside Kevin Harvick. Behind Jamie McMurray. Pretty even into turn 3.
It's going to be a drag race down here to the caution flag.
I think Joey Logano's thinking, I'm going to take it 3 wide here and get back on this lead lap.
This is lap 25. The yellow will wave after the field cycles through. Who leads the 25th lap? Busch.
It's Busch, I believe.
By 1/100th of a second. Kyle Busch.
You know what that is? That's going to school.
Now,
if I find myself back in this position, I know what to do.
I'm not so sure, though, that it was at the line. It's when the caution falls of who's going to actually be the leader.
Good point. And now caution waves as the field gets midpoint in the back straightaway. Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Jamie McMurray, Matt Kenseth, Kevin Harvick, the top 5, 2 Toyotas, a Chevrolet, and 2 Fords.
Now, if that were Sunday, and this was the end of one of those stages, that would have been the race for who's going to line up to come down pit road if they choose to. Will be at the start-finish line. But here today in the duels, it's when the caution comes out.
So Joey Logano will get the free pass. That puts all cars back on the lead lap. And of the open cars trying to race their way in, Corey LaJoie in 16th place is the highest placed of those 3. So he's in good position right now ahead of Reed Sorensen and Brendan Gaughan.
LaJoie's, they're drivers. You know, Randy, his dad, a champion. This kid right here, he's got a lot of talent. Good to see him out here.
Randy's upstairs. Corey's mom Lisa's upstairs. His granddad, modified champ Don LaJoie. They're all watching from the VIP suites, hoping Corey can make his first 500.
Now, guys, when pit road opens, everyone will pit because we have to have fuel to get to the end. Those crew chiefs want to put 4 tires on, but I bet you we'll see some 2-tire stops. I think you're going to have to restart this next restart. You're going to have to start somewhere in the top 4, top 6 if you want to have a shot at winning this thing.
And Larry, I think that's fine for some of those maybe in the first 5, maybe 6 positions. But anybody further back, I think they feel like I've got to be aggressive to make some moves. I need 4 tires and a good handling race car.
I'm with you, Jeff. I think the maneuverability of the car is so much better when you put 4 tires. Maybe not when we go back to green, but with about 10 to go, the cars with the 4 tires really come to the top.
I know they called that a competition caution. I call it a take my breath
yes.
Caution. I think those drivers are feeling the same way. That was pretty intense.
Kyle Busch will lead them onto pit road. And these laps do count under caution. Will come around to complete 27 this time by. Here they come, Chris.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth got the first pit box down here at pit entry. If he can't pit down near pit out, he likes this one because he gets a nice long look at it. Very quiet on the radio the first 25 laps, stay in the car. Not a lot of grip out there, so the team going to go with 4 tires. Jamie
McMurray started this race 12th, worked his way up to 3rd, really pushing the car, got on the bumper of the 18, said it's handling great, just a little loose, Matt.
The 18 service already complete. Now, he said his car was good, a little on the free side. Brad Keselowski said the vibration hadn't gotten any worse on the 2. And the 24 of Chase Elliott said his car is great, especially as a pusher.
Here's the race off pit road. Kyle Busch retains the lead.
No tires, 2 tires. Most everybody just 2 tires.
33 laps to go in race 1 of the Can-Am Duel.
I'm good right now, yeah. Thanks.
Kids under 12 enjoy free admission to several Speed Week events. They're having a good time. How about these kids? They're having a ball out there trying to earn their starting spots for Sunday, the biggest spectacle in NASCAR, and it's on Fox. Dale Earnhardt Jr. returns to the track. Jimmy Johnson begins his quest for an 8th Cup Series title. Denny Hamlin, defending champion of the Daytona 500, Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox.
Those kids and that fan, they're seeing. I'll tell you one thing, they're seeing a show. I mean, these guys are racing hard. I mean, surprisingly hard.
Now, a contrary strategy. Apparently, Ricky Stenhouse stayed out and did not pit the first time the pits were open. Came in and got his service, his fuel and tires. He wanted to keep all 4 fenders on the car. Said he did not want to come in the midst of everybody else. So a little bit of contrary.
Different strategy, yeah.
Well, obviously, he's feeling pretty good about the speed of his car, that he can come from the back, or he knows something we don't know. A lot's going to happen in this race.
He's got 4 tires. That's something that might be beneficial.
Let's listen in on Martin Truex, currently 10th.
I was doing okay until I got shuffled out there running the one car, trying to pass me, push 18 by him. I knew better than to go to the top of 3, but I don't know. Other than that, I mean, there's nowhere to go back here. Handling, slippery.
That's frustration, because there really isn't anywhere to go. People in front of you 2, 3 wide, and you got a fast car, and you can't go anywhere.
Now, Kyle Busch did not take tires, and it looked like he slid that right front tire coming into his pit box. Should that be cause for concern?
That's a very small amount of sliding the tire. If that was coming on pit road under green and that was a long slide and smoke's rolling off of it, I'd be concerned. I'm more concerned the fact that he didn't take any tires, because we're hearing other drivers talk about handling being an issue.
What's their plan, Matt?
I spoke with Adam Stevens, his crew chief. He said the balance was pretty good in the race car. They were more concerned about trying to control track position. But like you mentioned, a lot of other teams are talking about handling being an issue here in the final laps.
I think your car's good right now, Mike, but we got 30 laps to go. And so the tires are going to get worse. Car's going to get worse, in my opinion.
Well, here's what I think is going to get worse is the way these drivers are pushing the limits and taking big chances, and I think you're going to want a car that handles good.
Of the open drivers, Reed Sorensen now 8th on pit strategy. Corey LaJoie 15th. One of them will make the Daytona 500. One will go home 30 laps from now.
Mike, look at the racetrack. At night you can really see how gray it has become. This track a couple of years ago was real dark, still black. Now it's real gray. Lost a lot of grip.
Green flag, and Kyle Busch edges ahead of Brad Keselowski.
Well, we know Kyle's got a fast car because he drove up there and took the lead away from Keselowski, which that was pretty impressive. So we know he's got a fast car. I just worry. I'm just not sure about their tire selection.
Well, this is going to push him to want to maintain that track position, and he's going to fight hard to stay in the lead, because which is not happening already. We see Keselowski, and here comes Jamie McMurray on the inside. 3 wide for Kyle Busch. This is not what he wanted to see.
That's a bold move by number 1.
Well, he's made several of those, I might say.
And I was just going to say how important it was for Kyle Busch to stay out front, because he didn't take the tires. Now he's lost the lead. Now we're going to find out how good his car truly is handling.
Keselowski moves up to the high side and then drops down to pick up the 1. Chase Elliott coming up the outside in that blue number 24, and he's got help. Paul Menard in the 27.
I love those overhead shots. You see so much, how much the cars are moving around, how close they are. Incredible.
Ricky Stenhouse made that late stop, and Joey Logano in the 22 got the free pass, and look where they are now. Right back up in the top 10, right in the middle of it.
I knew that would happen. So did he. He wasn't too worried, I don't think, and that 22 will be up here hounding his teammate for long.
Those Fords have been fast all week here. Jamie.
Well, under that caution, Jamie McMurray came on the radio and said this car is a lot better than the Clash car. And his crew chief, Matt McCall, said, yeah, man, I can tell you're having fun out there. He's really pushing the car. So he's running second now in the 1, and he just told the 24 to talk to the spotter, said, let's hook up. The 2 of us, the Chevy power, let's go to the front.
Yeah, remember now, they're powered by Hendrick engines. The Chevy engines in their car come from Hendrick, and so we know they got some horsepower.
Now they're 3 wide in the back, and that's where Martin Truex in the 78 is trapped. Back there on the inside. But that's Reed Sorensen, the black car just ahead.
Mike, I know it's hard to tell on the TV, but those cars are wiggling and wobbling and they're all over the place.
Well, that's what I was going to say, DW. Every time you see that, that's somebody making contact with their front bumper to the rear bumper of that car in front of them, and just sends the car almost sideways.
Takes a lot of skill, particularly when I watch Keselowski and he's up in front and he goes from one lane to the other, one lane to the other. That car's got to be under him. He's got to know it's secure, and then you got to have some pretty good mirrors and a great spotter to make those moves.
He's fast. He's brash. He's Brad. He reminds me of a young Darrell Waltrip.
That's right. He gets it done, brother. I tell you that.
He's doing a heck of a job working the lanes as well. You know, it's so important when you get out front. We saw, you know, Kyle Busch was out there and he couldn't maintain that lead because Brad got a run on him. Now we're going to see just what kind of tactics that Brad uses. And we've seen both Brad and Jamie McMurray really use these lanes up. They see the momentum coming from behind. What do? They move down, block that. That shifts the momentum to the outside lane. They move up to block that lane, and you just go back and forth.
Joey Meyer's spotter, he's got to be, I mean, he's got to be telling Brad so much. For Brad, to know which lane has got what I like to call the push. I think Dale Jr. called it energy. But whichever lane is coming, that's the lane that he goes and blocks and picks up the push.
The lane that doesn't seem to be moving forward is the outside. Chase Elliott and that Napa car with Paul Menard and Joey Logano. They've not been able to gain on that inside line at all.
But remember that 24 car, Mike. He wants to start on the pole. So he's going to be maybe a little cautious with that car. I think that's what happened on the start. Don't think he's going to take any really bold chances.
Yeah, but let's not forget there's points on the line here. I don't know if it's as much as you want to gain those points as it is you don't want to give those up to your competitor.
I like points, and I know you got to consider those, but I want a trophy, man. I want to win this race.
Well, remember what happened Sunday in the Clash. Brad Keselowski made what could have been the winning move against Denny Hamlin.
Right here, he just cuts under him, and then Denny sees him coming, and
just a little too late, turns down, they make contact, and look who's taking advantage of it with the momentum on the outside, Joey Logano.
And Denny said, I probably wouldn't have made that that move in a points race, but that race had no points, all glory.
Big push coming from Chase Elliott on the 18 of Kyle Busch. Hell, but look at this, he's going to make a move on the outside.
Yeah, Elliott, Menard, Logano, they're hooked up now on the outside. Coming to the front, Keselowski moves up to pick up that push.
Wow, look at this. Is this a move for the lead right here by Chase Elliott? Going side drafting off the two. Is going to complete this pass.
Power move, baby. Woo!
Here comes Paul Menard on the outside. Watch this.
Oh, no!
Contact.
Kyle Busch got bounced around.
Unbelievable save by not only Kyle, but Paul Menard.
I think McMurray just got into the back of the 18 and sent him sailing.
Yeah, McMurray right in the midst of that one again. And look at all the momentum Menard lost. In that one.
Unfortunately, Matt Kenseth and Mark Truex Jr. are going to lose a lot of momentum also. They were in the middle lane there.
I don't think Kyle Busch is real happy with
anybody
McMurray right now, but
somebody,
especially McMurray.
Yeah, somebody made contact with Kyle Busch from behind, sent him to that middle lane.
Oh, did that car just bump the wall? Back in there, the black
Reed Sorensen.
Yeah, that car looked like it got up against the wall.
Possibly. All right, let's go back to where the 24 of Chase Elliott takes the lead.
Yeah.
And then show you, keep an eye on the 18, the yellow car of Kyle Busch. McMurray coming up.
Very similar move to what happened in the Clash by Chase Elliott doing the opposite of Brad Keselowski and what he did. And here's where it gets interesting. So
bam,
I
right
see
there,
what happened.
Yeah.
So the 18 got bottled up a little bit behind the two, lost momentum. The one just came and gave him a big shot.
A big shot. I mean, wow.
Let's watch that from Joey Logano's point of view. Right there. And it was
Paul. 3 wide. Watch it from here. There you go. Keep that momentum. Keep the momentum. Keep the momentum. Go to the middle. Go to the bottom. Go to the bottom. Go to the 2. Perfect.
And it was Paul Menard, 27, who was the victim.
How that was not a huge crash, I'll never know.
Quick hands, baby. They got the quick hands. Hanging on to them.
The Daytona 500 pole sitter, Chase Elliott, leads with 22 to go. laps to go. 18 laps to go. Nobody sitting down as Chase Elliott, second generation racer from Georgia, leads them around. And Jamie McMurray in the one. He has been the show. Hasn't made a lot of friends, but he's fought his way to the front.
I am blown away how fast the complexity of these lanes and the shift in the passing. I've never seen anything like this before. When we went to break, they were almost single file. By the time we came back from break, they're all double file behind Chase Elliott.
What I like about Chase Elliott, I didn't think he was going to win the pole, and he won the pole. I didn't think he would try to lead this race the way he is tonight. And look at him. He's learned a lot in a year.
Now, 3 Fords hooked up on the outside. Kozlowski in the 2. Almirola the 43. Chase comes up to cover the spot. Stenhouse in the 17. Right with them.
That was a quick move to the outside.
Woo. They're making some dicey moves, boy, I'm telling you.
Reed Sorensen is in the race-in position right now. He is 10th with Corey LaJoie 16th. There's Sorensen in the 55. LaJoie's the green and white car. Further back in the pack, only one of them will make the 500.
It's just fascinating to me how one car can get out front and work from one side of the track to the other and keep everybody at bay.
Hey guys, Mike Hillman Sr., crew chief for Reed Sorensen in that 55. We talked about it, track position. They did fuel only on that stop as well.
And that got him up to 8th place under the competition caution, Larry. And he has done a great job of holding on to a top 10 spot. At the other end of the field, rookie Daniel Suarez going to school on these NASCAR Cup drivers. Jamie?
And he really has. He was doing a nice job there before the pit stop, running mid-pack, moving around, seeing what he can and cannot do. But as you can see in the 19 right there, he has slipped all the way back. After that pit stop, he developed a vibration. So they're keeping an eye on it to see if it gets any worse, he'll have to come in. But for now, he's keeping it safe in the back.
I think one of his goals is to run all the laps. Get as much experience as I can before the race on Sunday. Because you got to remember something, folks. He had 0 laps in a Cup car before he got to Daytona.
My only concern is when you got to think of this is half the field. So if he doesn't move forward and get a better starting position, he could be starting 30th, 32nd in the Daytona 500. That's a long way back to start a 500-mile race.
Daniel Suarez is in the 19 because after the end of last season, Carl Edwards decided to step away from the sport, said he had no definite plans, but he was not going to compete in the Cup Series anymore. Walked away. Fortunately, Joe Gibbs Racing had Suarez in the on-deck circle, champion of the Xfinity Series and NASCAR's first National Series champ from outside the United States. He's from Monterrey, Mexico, and he's filled the seat.
One thing you said there for Sunday, remember, it's 500 miles, so you don't have to be in a hurry on Sunday.
Well, these guys are certainly in a hurry here tonight, this 150-miler.
14 laps to go. Elliott the leader, Kenseth the highest Toyota in 3rd, and now Kevin Harvick the highest Ford in 4th. Here's the battle to race in. Reed Sorensen has slipped to 13th in that black car. Corey LaJoie hanging on to the draft in 19th. Didn't show a ton of speed in practice.
Oh boy.
But trying to fight his way forward.
Man, look at those cars move from lane to lane to lane, and they pull it off.
Reed's doing an excellent job here. I'm curious to see as this race gets closer to the end and things heat up. Are those 4 tires that he didn't get, is he going to be wishing he had them?
Well, Kyle Busch is, I think he might be wishing he had tires because he's paying the price now. I mean, he's all the way back to 17th. Kyle Busch, who took no tires.
Let's remind you, all of those drivers are locked into the 500 field. The 36 chartered teams are guaranteed spots in the race.
Watch this. Harvick's got a run. He's bump drafting the 1 car. Jamie McMurray's probably going to make a move on Chase Elliott here for the lead. No, Harvick goes to the outside of him.
Well, Jamie dropped down, and that left that outside lane wide open for Harvick, but they just can't get up to the back bumper of that 24 car. He's just a little too fast for him.
Here they come to 12 laps to go. Chris.
And boy, Matt Kenseth has shown some strength in the last 5 laps. When we saw that contact with Kyle Busch and Paul Menard on the racetrack, Kenseth got shuffled all the way.
Trouble. 55's around.
Oh, Reed Sorensen head on into the infield retaining wall, and that's Corey LaJoie slipping past. He may have gotten into the back of Reed Sorensen as they battled for position.
Heavy impact by C. Reed moving around inside the car. That's a good sign.
That's Paul Menard. He's got damage on his car and made contact with someone. So that's a very similar hit to what we saw Kyle Busch take here a couple of years ago, but now it's protected by safer barriers. So thank goodness for that, because that nose is caved way in.
Right front damage to Menard, who will come to pit road, and after a bit we'll explain NASCAR's new protocol for crash damaged cars.
See, he's pulled his helmet off, given the Hans device.
Now he was in 13th. He was in the transfer position. Was going to make it into the Daytona 500.
Doing a really, really great job.
And he's out of the car. Thank goodness.
Tough break, man. Tough break.
Peachtree City, Georgia driver Reed Sorensen is okay. There are the two combatants in the upper right.
Close racing at this point.
Coming into the tri-oval. That was weird.
Ooh,
you know, Corey got a big push, maybe from Kyle Busch behind.
Oh, man, that's a hit.
But what I love about what I'm seeing there, I know that was a heavy impact, but look at that new wall that Daytona Speedway has put in with a safer barrier. Much different angle than what Kyle Busch hit that wall with, and that's because of the improvements they've made.
Watch the 83 get a little, did he get a little loose here? Maybe not. He looked for the inside.
Yeah, the 55 fell back a little bit. He got a big run and he went to go to the inside. The 83 did of Corey LaJoie, and unfortunately he just made contact in the left rear. It doesn't take much.
Right through this trouble, Mike. Your car is so free through here. If you just touch it, you can spin it out.
In real time.
Whoa.
Oh.
120-mile-an-hour impact.
I guarantee it took
driver.
him a while to catch his breath on that one. He's going to really be feeling it tomorrow.
Yeah, that right there is exactly where Kyle Busch hit 2 years ago, and that was not protected like it is now. So good job on the Speedway's part, and I'm glad that Reed was able to get out of the car.
Now, Paul Menard is on the clock. He has 5 minutes from the time he entered pit road to make whatever repairs need to be made to the crash damage on this car, and then he'll have to get back out on track and at least make it up to minimum speed to be allowed to continue. Here's the back half of the field coming in, including Kyle Busch, who got into a skirmish earlier. There is Corey LaJoie. All 4 tires are up there. Here's Matt.
Good example of the 18 of Kyle Busch getting into the wall slightly. He says possible crush panels. You can see the crew member Jake Seminara, the tire changer, beating out the wheel well opening there on that right rear quarter panel. Now he's got a hammer. Right sides for the 18, Mike.
10 laps to go. We're under caution as Corey LaJoie gets into the back of Reed Sorensen, who collects Paul Menard.
Okay. No big deal.
Just thankful that they have that there.
Oh, big time.
We're under caution with 9 laps to go in the first of 2 races that make up the Can-Am Duel at Daytona and set the Daytona 500 field. Paul Menard was on the clock for damage repair at 2.5 minutes. Kyle Busch for 1.5. Both those cars are out there running. Now, as long as they get up to NASCAR's minimum speed, which is a lap of 56 seconds, 160.7 miles per hour, as long as they can run that pace or better, then the damage repair clock goes away. 9 laps.
Okay, 9 laps. Kyle's got tires now. Can he get back to the front?
You know, yeah, we saw Logano in the 17 move up there in no time, at least to the top 5 or 6 positions.
Yeah, I just wondered if he's got enough time. He's got the tires now over everybody else.
Restart with 8 laps to go. Jamie Mack giving a push to race leader and pole sitter Chase Elliott, with Kevin Harvick ahead of Brad Keselowski on the high side.
McMurray's an incredible pusher. He's so aggressive. He knows how to get up on that rear bumper and give Chase Elliott that big shove out to the lead.
Yeah, he's going to have a new nose when this race is over with. He'd use that baby up.
Elliott moved up, came back down, trying to hold those Fords back on the outside.
So that was a real tough call by Chase Elliott. He had to block the inside lane. He said, hey, the one car's been working with me. I'm going to use that lane. I'm going to go down there. But unfortunately, that allowed Kevin Harvick to get to his outside.
Yeah, you got 4 Fords here on the outside lining up pretty good right now. Looks like they might get the push.
Elliott holds the lead, 7 to go.
Boy, Chase was extremely aggressive coming up to the left rear quarter panel to side draft Kevin Harvick. Woo. And at the same time, we saw the one in McMurray doing the same thing behind him. And that's going to get him the lead.
Now, he's in good shape right there. Once he can get and they get side by side behind him, that gives you a little bit of breathing room.
All 3 cars that had damage have cleared the repair clock. They're good to go the distance. In the race-in battle, Corey LaJoie just ahead of Brendan Gaughan, trying to race his way into the 500.
I tell you, though, it's a different Chase Elliott we saw here last year. He's driving like a real veteran, like he knows exactly where he wants to be and what he wants to do.
And he's getting help from a real veteran spotter, Eddie DeHaan, up on the roof for Chase Elliott.
Good work there. Nice work. Still there. I like that you're taking chances. This is the race to do it now.
Eddie's a great spotter. He's my spotter in my final race out there. He's doing a great job for Chase Elliott, really talking him through this. I like how they're trying to be aggressive, even though they're on the pole.
I do too, Jeff. I thought he might be real conservative and take it easy, but was I wrong?
But I agree with you, DW. You know, I think he's a quick learner.
Yep.
We've seen that at other tracks, and this was one where he felt like he really needed to take more chances and get, gain that knowledge and experience, and it's really paying off here.
And the other thing is, they were concerned. The Hendrick guys were a little bit concerned about their cars. I think that concern can go out the window now because this car is stable.
5 laps to go. Reed Sorensen released at the Care Center. This is half the Daytona 500 field racing for starting position, and for the first time since 1971, championship points to the first 10 finishers in each of these dual races.
The car in the front, 24, he's stable. The rest of them, I'm not real sure what they are. They're all over the place.
Well, we've seen where Hendrick Motorsports has had some handling issues, not only this week, but last year. But boy, Chase Elliott, all he's talked about is how good his car is driving, and now he's out front.
And that's got to be Dale Jr., who's going to be in the next race. Got to make him feel really confident and comfortable too.
Look at this. There's not room for all 18 of those cars in victory lane, but they're sure trying to pack them into one tight group for this finish. 4 to go.
I think we've heard it over and over, Mike, when you get back in the pack like the 18 car is, even though he has 4 tires and we know he has a fast car, nowhere to go. He just can't find an opening.
When everybody's shuffling, trying to get that position, they're trying to get the win, trying to get points. Nobody's thinking about anybody else right now. It's just one agenda.
Hey, guys, when I look at our top 5 right now, Kevin Harvick in that 4 car, he's the only driver that took 4 tires under that caution back at lap 25. The other 4 went with right sides only.
Yeah, Larry, he took 4 in the Clash and really liked it, allowed him to get up front there and have a shot at the win. So I think he learned something from that event. He wanted 4 tires to go after him and be aggressive in these closing laps.
See, what I've learned tonight is that 24 car is plenty fast. I mean, that thing is fast. He's sitting there leading this group around here, kind of go from one side to the other. Really impressed with the job Chase has done tonight. Really impressed.
His job's going to get a little bit harder. We see Trevor Bayne make an aggressive move to get inside of Matt Kenseth. Took him 3 wide, was able to, almost cleared him, but not quite.
Bayne in the 6. Here comes Kenseth up the outside. Logano to help in the 22. And they're going to be coming to 2 to go as they roll off turn 4.
Well, that 4 car's got a heck of a run off turn 4 there. Chase moves up and blocks him.
Now look at this big push from the 2 car, Brad Keselowski. He had to check up there a little bit. But see, I don't like this where Chase gets out there. If he gets out there too far and one of these cars gets a big run, it'll make it pretty easy for him to get that momentum and get side by side.
The 4 doesn't have enough steam to get up there. The 1 doesn't have enough steam to get up there. He's got them pretty much where he wants them right
Well,
at this point.
especially as long as they're 3 wide behind them. That lane is really not going to go anywhere.
I know one thing, a lot of smoke flying. Woohoo!
Look at Matt Kenseth making a big move. He's going to get 3 wide inside of Kevin Harvick.
Boy, that's hard to do right there. That car is a handful when it's in the middle like that. Cars on your left, cars on your right, cars on your bumper.
Almirola trying to help. White flag in the air. Last lap of the first of the Can-Am Duel.
Can he hold them off, bud?
I mean, I think as long as they stay like this, but if those 3 cars that are 3 wide back there, if they get 2 wide or even single file, and here we go. We see Kevin Harvick getting a big run here. It's going to be tough to hold him off. Wow, that was a big move right there. That was important. That's
that was
half the
probably a
battle.
winning move.
Another run's going to come before this race is over, though. He's got 1 more block. If he can make that happen, I think he'll win this race.
Harvick's got Keselowski to help in the 2. McMurray alone in the 1 on the bottom. Harvick.
Boy, I tell you, Keselowski cut Harvick some slack right there, boys.
Yep.
Yeah, he could have dove to the inside like we saw Denny Hamlin do last year in the Daytona 500.
Off turn 4, Chase from the same place as Awesome Bill from Dawsonville wins the Can-Am Duel. Chase Elliott for Alan Gustafson, a Daytona Beach product.
You are the man. Nice work, Eddie. Good job, boys. Super proud of you.
Tell you, that's impressive.
That is
Very
impressive. That's a fast race car right there.
On Sunday, Alan Gustafson became the first crew chief in decades to win 3 straight Daytona 500 poles, who was the last Chase Elliott's uncle, Ernie, for Chase's dad, Bill. Kind of all comes together, doesn't it?
You know what I love about that race, though, and Chase winning it? He didn't have to win that race. I mean, he was going to start on the pole. He just had to finish that race. Right now, he's sitting on max points.
And I think that's a heck of a statement by that team.
I do, too.
And, Jeff, you were the youngest driver to win the duel until tonight. Chase beat you by 4 months, and he gets something you didn't get when you won the duel, championship points.
You know what I always say about records? I love it when people break records. I just wish they weren't mine.
Well, this kid's going to do a lot of those.
Chase Elliott is the winner of Can-Am Duel race number 1. 1 to go, and we'll tell you when we come back who races their way in.
Did he?
Chase Elliott backs up his second Daytona 500 pole with the checkered flag from the Can-Am Duel. Jamie McMurray makes it a 1-2 finish for Chevrolet. Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski in Fords. Matt Kenseth's Toyota, the top 5. Trevor Bayne, Martin Truex, Eric Almirola, Joey Logano, and Cole Witt will all receive championship points for this race. Here is the rest of the field with Corey LaJoie finishing ahead of Brendan Gaughan. That should put LaJoie in the race, and Reed Sorensen's going to have to wait. Vince.
He is indeed. Reed Sorensen could still make the Daytona 500. We'll have to see how the second duel shakes out. But some heavy contact with your car. Glad to see you out of the care center okay. What happened coming off that corner?
I just remember getting turned. Not sure how it developed, but I think that we were in a good position to make this race. I was real proud of the way that the guys did with the car. The car was driving great. Yeah, I mean, it looks like he just turned us just like I thought, but I guess he felt like he did what he had to do to make the race. So I hope he's proud of that part of it. Just hate it for my guys that worked so hard on this car at Premium Motorsports, but we do have another car, and hopefully we can get in on speed and race the Daytona 500. It's just a lot of pressure going into making this race, and it's a very big deal to a small team like ours, and I hate to see us to miss the race by getting taken out like that. But it's part of racing, and we'll move on. If we don't make this race, we'll be in Atlanta. So we'll see how the second duel goes, and hopefully we're in the race.
Thanks, Reed. Glad you're okay. Let's go to Chris Myers.
All right, thank you, Vince. First win at a Cup car for Chase Elliott, holding off Harvick to do it and winning the duel. And Matt Yoakum is down there for the celebration at Victory Lane.
His Hall of Fame father in attendance, confidence and composure behind the wheel by the sophomore driver. Last year, you almost beat yourself up too much over what happened on the racetrack during your rookie season. Where did you improve most that showed tonight?
Oh man, we had such a fast Napa Chevy tonight. I don't know, I didn't think anybody was going to help us there at the first part of the race, and had a couple good pushes to get us out front, and Eddie did a great job on top of the roof, making sure that he was calling the lanes correctly, and we're able to get back to the front. So just a big thanks to our partners, Napa, Hooters, Kelly Blue Book, Mountain Dew, Sun Energy One, Chevrolet, Valvoline, the Hendrick Engine Shop. They had some steam tonight, and it was apparent.
I spoke to Alan Gustafson on the grid. He never once mentioned points. It was always save the car, save the car, save the car. A lot of risk versus reward, but you earned some good points looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah, to be honest with you, we weren't even really thinking about that, so that's great. I'm excited about that, but really just more excited about how this thing ran tonight, keeping it in one piece. Great way to start the season for us. This is, I know it's just a dual win, and it doesn't count, towards a win in the playoffs, but still means a lot to me. It means a lot to our team, and like I said, just a great way to start the season.
Congratulations. Jamie?
Well, Jamie McMurray, what a race for him. Finished second. Chip Ganassi's all pumped up down here, and you told your guys this car is a lot better than the Clash car. What to you makes a good Daytona 500 car?
Well, our Cessna McDonald's Chevy, it sucked up really well. I went home and watched a lot of video on Monday of some of the cars that I thought were really good to see how they were getting runs and how they were doing restarts. And this car just had a little more speed in it. It was able to suck up a lot better than our other car. The balance was a little bit better. Obviously, running at night, I think, helped some of that. But I don't know. It just, when you have a bad car, when you get hung out, you go to the back or you go mid-pack. And I got hung out a couple of times, and I was able to maintain and come back in and around 5th. So, yeah, a really good car. Proud of our guys. Glad that it's in one piece and can go back and watch now.
Jamie McMurray knows how to get it done here. 2010 Daytona 500 winner. Chris?
And Brad Keselowski led 28 laps tonight. Brad, it looked like you and Kevin Harvick were trying to get a run there at the end. Was there anything more you guys could do to get a run on Chase Elliott?
Always more, yeah. It was a solid night for the Miller Lite Ford, and I thought we had good speed and learned some more things about this car, having not practiced it. So there was always something to be learned, but we're ready to go for the 500. We wanted to win tonight, but we let a lot of laps show we could be up front, and most importantly, we took our best car, we brought it home in good peace, but still want to win them. But the most important race is this Sunday.
Thanks, Brad. Chris?
All right, Keselowski led the most laps 3 different times for 28 laps tonight, but Chase Elliott, he was 4 years old when his father Bill won his 4th and final dual race, celebrating in victory lane. Yeah. Yeah, but they didn't say it, but it's worth verbalizing. Yes, Dale Earnhardt, not Junior. Chase Elliott led twice for 25 laps, including the last 24 in the first duel of the night. Joey Logano with a right front tire problem, having to make an unexpected pit stop. Look at this power move by the pole sitter for the Daytona 500, getting past Keselowski, and Kyle Busch getting loose. Paul Menard involved as well. Reed Sorensen tried to race his way in, caught up with Corey LaJoie. Both were running neck and neck throughout the race. Everybody okay on the mishap. And then holding off Harvick, Chase Elliott with the victory. It's the 50th win for Chevy in this event. Dale Earnhardt Jr. will lead Chevy and Hendrick Motorsports in the second duel coming up. But let's check on Corey LaJoie. Jamie Little is standing by with him.
These are the fun stories of these races, right? He races his way in for his first Daytona 500. Tell us the story just a month ago, how you found out you got this ride.
I was just welding seats in my dad's shop, and Ron Devine all came in, and he was needing a driver. Matt went over to go fast and had an open seat that I politicking very hard for, and I picked it up. This is the call you've been wanting to hear. And I was like, man, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm excited to go, and I just can't thank Dustless Blasting enough to put me in that thing and to have faith in me to do it, because he could have chose several other people, and he chose me, and we're racing on Sunday.
And you call Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson on Corey LaJoie's side. He's in the field for the first time for the Daytona 500, Chris.
All right, thank you. It's a feel-good story, and also first driver, Chase Elliott, to have the pole and win a dual race since 1996. Dale Earnhardt, the last to accomplish that. Let's head back upstairs. Mike?
Well, looking back at Duel 1, the Toyotas did not seem like they could get together and run according to plan. And the Fords, there were many of them. They were fast in the high lane, but the high lane didn't seem to move as well in the second half of the race.
Yeah, it did. It just, to me, Jamie McMurray's aggressiveness, I think, really played a big impact in that race. I mean, whoever he was pushing, they were moving forward. So he was super aggressive. He was able to get behind Chase Elliott there at the end. They get the win.
24. That's just impressive. I just got to tell you, that was an impressive drive. That young man showed me something tonight.
Chase Elliott, a winner in Duel 1. And his dad, Hall of Famer Bill, part of the celebration.
Mike, Bill Elliott, the last driver to win the pole, the Duel, and the Daytona 500 in the same year. That was 1985. His son Chase with a chance to do that. More from Daytona in a moment.
All right, man, short race. Let's make it happen.
Race aggressive. Got a trophy at the end. Trying to do a better job than I did the other day here.
Wheel vibration, get back quick. Got to jump out of this.
They're all over the place up there.
I think a lot of guys are complaining they're getting a little hot.
If I was holding my own and nobody would come up and push me.
Hit them pretty hard. Back off a little bit. Take a chill pill.
FS1 Live from Daytona. There's Dale Earnhardt Jr. His last win in a Cup car came in the Duel races. Of course, the concussion problems last year keeping him out until the return here. Danica Patrick loosening up. We'll see her along with the pole sitter Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the second Duel coming up here in just moments, live from Daytona International Speedway. Didn't bother Chase Elliott that he didn't have one of his teammates in the first Duel. Denny Hamlin is the lone Joe Gibbs Racing driver in the second Duel. 3 of the 4 Hendrick Motorsports teammates in this second Duel. And Stewart Haas Racing, the Fords this year, 3 drivers. Danica Patrick, one of those, with Clint Boyer and Kurt Busch. Rounding out the 21 drivers, including Elliott Sadler and our own Michael Waltrip. who said, I don't want to get stuck in the back of the pack with old tires. Let's check in now with Larry McReynolds.
You know, Chris, I have a new tool up here called Fox Aero Tracks. And you think about that pass that Chase Elliott made on Brad Keselowski. He did it by utilizing the side draft. This is like the back car. That's Chase coming up. He's in the airstream of the lead car, but what he does when he gets to that left rear, it dumps air on the spoiler and in the rear wheel of that lead car, and he just moves away, and he's able to complete the pass. It's not that he picked up speed, but he slowed that car down by dumping air on the rear spoiler and in the rear wheel well.
All right, thank you very much, Larry. The second duel to complete the running order, the starting order for Sunday's Daytona 500, as Jimmy Johnson, who's a two-time Daytona 500 winner. There's Ty Dillon, one of the younger drivers competing in the 500, and Denny Hamlin, last year's Daytona 500 winner in the closest finish ever. More in a moment. Don't let this guy jump his cue. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything they learn making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Chase Elliott, 10 points, 10 regular season points for winning the first duel. Who will it be in the second duel? Let's take you trackside.
Here to deliver the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Vice President and General Manager of Global Retail and Services for BRP and the Can-Am brand, Sandy Scullion.
Drivers, start your engines!
Drivers are ready, and as we get ready to head upstairs, Dale Earnhardt Jr. said, Mike, he said, we got good cars, we have good backups, there are points on the line. I'm racing to win tonight. Looking forward to you guys calling it.
Thanks, Chris. Certainly his teammate, Chase Elliott, was in race one. 21 cars. This will set the outside lane when we start the Daytona 500 on Sunday. 10 past, dual, or point race cup winners in this field. A lot of talent here, too.
Boy, there certainly is. But I'm just wondering what's going to go through the minds of these drivers. They saw a pretty wild race. There was some bumping and banging, but no big wreck. And we've seen in the past, if one goes pretty smooth, the other one does the exact opposite.
And I think when you look at that first race there, you know, with Chase winning that race and McMurray pushing him, that's a pinch, Hendrick car with Hendrick power. I think Dale Jr. is going to be looking for a situation similar to that. Maybe that 42 of Kyle Larson get up there and they can work together.
And he has two other teammates in this race as well.
He's got Jimmy Johnson and Casey Kane as well. So Dale Jr.'s got some good help.
But to Jeff's point, often this race has a very different complexion than the first one. We're about to find out as Can-Am Duel number 2 takes to the track. Ready to set the field for the 500. We're racing.
This is a cat and mouse game right here.
That's where the risk comes in. This race has meaning, risk, and reward.
That is one powerful race car.
There they are, all side by side.
Now it's on.
Whoa, that was close right there. Crash. Oh, spin.
Holy schmoly.
I love this race, too.
That was not a video game. That was real life.
Oh, no. It's on the line now, boys.
NASCAR's biggest stars are about to duel.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
Welcome back to the Can-Am Duel at Daytona. Race number 2 getting set to start. That will set the outside lane for Sunday's Daytona 500. The inside lane was set in race number 1, won by Chase Elliott. Cars rolling down pit road behind the safety car and out onto the 2.5-mile super speedway. As we get ready to race, 21 cars will come to the green, led by Dale Earnhardt Jr., who won his duel the last 2 years, and Clint Boyer. There's a Ford in his future. He was the runner-up in this race in 2011. Denny Hamlin won a duel in 2014. Casey Kane did it in 2010. Ryan Newman, the 500 winner in 2008. And Ty Dillon finished a duel best 5th last year. Jimmy Johnson has 2 duel wins. Kyle Larson 6th last year. Ryan Blaney, 2 duels, 2 top 10s, and rookie Eric Jones making his first Daytona start. Kurt Busch, 2011 duel winner, and Danica Patrick, who finished 4th in the Clash on Sunday. Austin Dillon was 3rd in this race in 2013, while A.J. Allmendinger, 5 top 10s in 9 starts. Michael McDowell, 6th in 2012, and David Reagan, the 2011 July race winner here. Michael Waltrip, 2-time 500 winner, and Elliott Sadler, who is locked into Sunday's race on speed. Now, DJ Kennington can race into the 500 in this event. Jeffrey Earnhardt is locked in. He's making his first dual start, and Timmy Hill will start 21st. He also will need to be the first open car to finish and race in to make the race. Let's take a look at who could be ahead of the pack, brought to you by Coyote. Can I go first?
Yeah, I was going to take the 11. I was going to take the 11.
Daytona 500 defending champ. I'll take Denny Hamlin.
Way to go out on a limb there, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I think Clint Boyer's going to have a standout year. He's over at Stewart Haas. Rough year last year, but he's such a great restrictor plate racer. I'm going Clint Boyer.
I'm so excited. I'm taking Dale Jr. in the 88. And after his
surprise.
his teammate won that race. And I mean, I think I'm going to see if I can talk to the young man. How you say? But what do you think about that?
I think you better.
Hey, Dale Jr. It's DW. You got me, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Man, we loved having you up here with us last week calling the Clash, but we are so excited that you're back behind that wheel, behind the wheel of that 88 tonight. How you feeling out there tonight?
I hope we're feeling good when this thing's over with. Hope we're celebrating a win like Chase did. Congratulations to him and the 24 guys. The car looked good, so that makes us pretty excited about our opportunity tonight. Some points on the line, too, so we're going to try to race hard, get some points, and hopefully get us a trophy.
Have you made any deals with you got some teammates out there that would be pretty good to work with tonight? Have you talked to them about that?
We talk a little bit about things we see and like and don't like, so we'll see if we can help each other. If we can't, you know, sometimes you just get people around you and you can't get to them, or they can't get to you, but we'll work with whoever we need to try to stay up front as much as we can. If we get in a position to help them, though, we're definitely going to try to do that.
All right, buddy. This is the house you and your dad built. Add to that legacy. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
229 days since Dale Earnhardt Jr. took the green flag in what's now the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. Let's get down to pit road. Matt.
Mike, it's already been a big day for last year's Daytona 500 champion Denny Hamlin. Joe Gibbs Racing announced a long-term contract extension. Denny hopes to be a lifer in the 11. Meanwhile, he and crew chief Mike Wheeler discussed looking at the first duel. You need to stay in the first 2 rows. 5th on back, it's just like hitting a wall. You just can't move forward and get yourself to the front. Jimmy Little?
Well, there are 2 rookies in this duel here tonight, Ty Dillon and Eric Jones. Eric Jones, of course, racing the number 77 for Furniture Row Racing. I talked to him before he got in the car, and he said, this race, the idea of it has been stressing me out. And of course, earlier today, the one and only practice session for tonight was rained out, so he doesn't know what to expect. He has one teammate out there in Denny Hamlin, but no matter what, the goal is to finish all the laps and have a little fun doing it. Vince?
Kyle Larson and this 42 team were encouraged by their teammate Jamie McMurray's 2nd place finish in Duel 1. Larson said with points on the line, you've got to go tonight just like you would on Sunday. Crew chief Chad Johnston summed it up by saying, you got to be aggressive, go like hell, and bring it home in one piece. We'll see what Larson does with that advice. Chris Neville?
Well, Danica Patrick had a great clash on Sunday. In the last lap, she went from 10th to 4th. She said her Ford is strong. It's especially strong in the draft, and that's where she thinks she has an advantage tonight, as more than half this field has had no drafting practice. Larry?
Yeah, Chris, you have to have a fast car, you have to have a good handling car, but track position is going to be king again. You look at Duel 1, 4 of the top 5, they went with just 2 right side tires when they made that pit stop. Let's take a look at the race analysis. 60 laps, 150 miles, pit road speed 55 miles per hour, the fuel window 44 to 48 laps, lap 25, that's when they'll make that pit stop. It's a competition caution, you cannot fuel before then. And to the rear, Michael Waltrip for a transmission change, Mike.
Thanks, Larry. 12 Chevrolets, 5 Fords, and 4 Toyotas to come to the green flag in a lap The order for each race set by qualifying speeds on Sunday. For tonight's race, Fox Sports Go is featuring Car Channel coverage for Jimmy Johnson and Dale Earnhardt Jr. You can see the race coverage, in-car cameras, hear team communications, and view real-time driver stats. Go to foxsportsgo.com or download the Fox Sports Go app on your mobile device. Clint Bowyer ready to roll from the outside pole. Tony Stewart retired, and Bowyer takes over the seat of the number 14 for Stewart-Haas Racing, now a Ford. Here's the team discussion on the pace laps.
To work hard here, Brett. Got a lot of learning to do, obviously. Got a fast car. We ain't had one of these in a while. Let's get to work. Yes, sir. Good time.
I love Warriors. I tell you, I never seen a guy so jacked up to start the season.
Well, boy, everything he went through last year, he deserves it, and he's got to be excited, and I think he's got a great opportunity here.
Yeah.
And how about his teammate, Danica Patrick, in the 10?
Good news is we've been here before. Definitely going to be aggressive to be up front. So I know this is the primary. We want to keep it if we can, but I'll still be on the aggressive side and try and take chances where it's smart.
DW, we keep hearing all these drivers talking about being aggressive. How are they going to be this aggressive and not tear up these race cars?
Well, I tell you, we got through that first race pretty good. I don't know if we get through the second one or not. If they drive like they did in that first one, it's going to be wild.
I will say Danica's got to have some confidence coming off the Clash. He had a great run all the way to the finish there to finish in the top 5.
Jeff, you were out of the car for a little while last year, and you got back in the 88 car. How's it feel? How do you think Dale Jr. is feeling right now?
My heart was beating so much. I mean, he's so good here. I think he's probably a lot more confident, and relaxed than you would think. But he also just saw what Chase Elliott did in that previous duel. He's got to be feeling pretty good about his race car.
6 onboard cameras for this race, and at the back of the field, Elliott Sadler locked in on speed. So DJ Kennington, Timmy Hill, their only chance to make the 500, be the first of those 3, including Sadler, across the stripe. At the end of 60 laps, 25 laps, competition caution, then the final 35 to set the outside lane for Sunday's 500. Here they come, green flag in the air, and we're racing. Dale Jr. out front.
Well, he's ready to go.
Yeah, he was. One thing I know about it, he understands the air as well as his dad ever did. He drives this track better than most. He's going to be hard to beat.
Pretty messy start there. They weren't very organized, and Junior was ready to go. I'm not so sure everybody else was.
Now, this is not the tightly clenched pack we had in race 1.
Oh,
let's see it develop.
Calm down. Just settle down, boys. We haven't even made a lap yet. They'll get grouped up.
See Denny coming with a pretty big push and run on the inside lane.
Ryan Newman
probably
behind
get to
him.
the inside here. Bowyer.
Here comes Hamlin in the 11.
Wow.
Whoa, Bowyer was wanting to drop down in behind the 11. I think he changed his mind. There wasn't quite enough room.
A lot of momentum in that inside lane. The outside lane's a little bit broken up. Hamlin to the outside of Junior. Wow, look at those sparks.
Son, he's bottoming out.
We knew sparks were going to fly in this race, but
that's probably just from low air. Start this race pretty low air pressure. You'll see that for a couple, 3 laps. I think that'll probably go away.
I agree. No help to Dale Jr. Ryan Newman coming up the inside to try to give him some help.
Hamlin, Bowyer, Kane, Larson on the outside.
So, I talked about that inside lane being really organized. Well, Danny Hamlin took advantage of that. He got a nice push from behind, built a little bit of a gap to Dale Jr., gave him the momentum to jump to the outside and get side by side, but couldn't complete the pass yet.
Yes, sir, young lady. Put those hands in the air. Get up off that seat.
Dale Jr. is back.
Matt?
Mike, no practice. That's why you're seeing some sparks just due to travel, the side skirts hitting the bottom. The other concern the 11 team had was with no practice, just would the mirrors be in the exact position that Denny would need? And remember, 30 seconds of an inch, that can mean the spelling of victory lane or a wreck.
Earnhardt Jr. edges ahead on the inside.
Yeah, it's one thing.
And Hamlin comes back.
One thing to set those mirrors in the garage area looking out behind you or beside you, but it's a whole nother ball game when you take the banking into account and you actually have to look through those windows in the middle of a corner.
Hamlin leads lap 3.
I think Junior's got to feel pretty comfortable and confident, Mike. Those cars have been real loose. You know, we saw Jimmy Johnson spin out. We saw Junior spin out last year and Chase as well. Look like they've got their problem solved.
Now remember, no matter where Dale Earnhardt Jr. finishes, if he keeps this car in one piece, he starts on the front row of the 500.
Yeah, but I think he wants to make a statement. You know, we had an opportunity to spend a lot of time with Dale Jr. up here in the booth, and he talked about when you get a run, you take it as far as you can. If you get momentum, go and be aggressive and make those big moves and make a statement to your competitors.
A run is like a breath mint. When someone offers you one, take it.
He's going to get a run right here. Yeah, look at that. Goes to the inside. Boy, it didn't take much of a push from that 14 of Clint Boyer to get that momentum. That's a real sign of how much speed that 88 car has.
Now Larson went way to the outside, 3 wide through the tri-oval. That's his number 42 up there.
Are you surprised?
You don't think he's in the high line? Kyle Larson, are you kidding me? He rubs the wall. He loves the high line. And there is quite a bit of momentum up there, particularly when you're trying to get by people.
Casey Kane squeezing out through the middle like toothpaste out of a tube as he catches up to Clint Boyer in the 14.
5 cars been pretty good this week.
For the lead, Dale Earnhardt Jr. back on the inside. Ryan Newman with him.
You know, I talked to Casey Kane the other day, and I think it's really important for them to get a good start to the season. They ended last year on a good note with some momentum, but they know that they started off way behind. They need to get a better start to the season to keep that momentum going.
And Mike, these cars are now coming up to kind of max speed, max handle. The air pressures are up, the temps are up. The cars are really starting to really perform. This is when you're going to see who's got the best car.
Denny had a nice little burst of momentum there. Now watch him drop back. See how he dropped back to get to the front bumper of Clint Boyer? Now he's going to get a run just like Junior did, but he just doesn't quite have enough momentum to get up beside him like Junior did a couple laps before.
Boyer can't stay close enough to help him get going. But he's looking, and Dale Jr.'s watching.
Among the young guns, Austin Dillon up there in the 3, Ryan Blaney in the 21. Right in the mix.
Hear that engine change just a little tune. He's either dragging the brake or possibly lifting out the throttle just a teeny bit. Most of the time, he just dragged the brake.
And here comes Michael Waltrip in the 15. He'll start his 30th Daytona 500 and final 500 on Sunday.
Mikey told us, he said, I don't have the fastest car here, so I've got to be smart, and I've got to drive and take advantage of everything draft everything that moves in order to stay up in the pack.
A new driver in that 13 this year, that'll be Ty Dillon. As we watch A.J. Allmendinger on the inside of Waltrip.
So we see Denny Hamlin's actually dropped back a little bit, lost a little bit of drafting help on that inside lane, and now you see that line on the outside. And here's Junior. Here's what he does so well. He takes if somebody's going to work with him, he's got his teammate 2 positions behind. Clint Boyer, he's worked with very well, taking that high lane, building that line, and he'll do that until somebody decides to drop to that low lane.
I've always called him the Pied Piper, because it seemed like when he's in the race and he's got a good car like he does tonight, people follow him wherever he goes. I mean, if he runs low, they run low. If he runs high, he runs high. And, of course, Boyer's tickled to death to be sitting there.
Now, in the race-in battle, the number 7 of Elliott Sadler is the first of those 3 drivers trying to race their way into the 500. And his biggest fan right now is Reed Sorensen, because if Sadler holds that spot, Sorensen is the next fastest qualifier. And even though he was in race 1, he would earn the final spot in the 500.
But Mike, how many times did that first race was wild, okay?
Yes.
They didn't wreck a lot of cars or anything, but the racing was crazy. Then these guys watched. They said, We're not going out there and act that way. And so that's why we're kind of seeing a little bit of this.
I want to know what what they ate for breakfast in that first race, because these drivers are being complete opposite and totally calm, staying single file and content with that. Those drivers weren't content at all in that race, duel number 1. Matt?
Jeff, Clint Boyer told me on the grid, compared to the Clash, you tend to try to pull back the reins a little more in this event, hoping to save your car for the 500. He told me it just seems so difficult to organize in that first duel. His goal just to try to stay up front to be a contender at the end.
Yeah, well, remember, they're racing at lap 25. We're going to have a competition yellow at that point. Got a feeling guys get in, make a little adjustment on the car, get some tires on the car, whatever they decide to do. The second half of this race will be a little bit crazier than this.
The 21's a contender. Blaney in 4th place. Hall of Fame mechanic Leonard Wood wearing that Daytona 500 ring. He's got 5 of those. That one from Trevor Bayne's win.
Yeah, and too much content.
Hey, DW and Jeff. What
.13 laps in the book. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been out front for 11 of them. Denny Hamlin for 2. Hamlin trying to regroup back to the front, working on Clint Boyer, Casey Kane, Ryan Blaney.
I think what the 11 car of Hamlin's doing, he's trying to organize a little group, see if we can pull back to the front on this inside. He's been down there by himself for a while. He's picked up 48 and a couple others that might get him up there.
Oh no, he's broke them up pretty good. He had a few cars jump back down there in that bottom line, and look how that top line is broken up just a little bit now. You know, as long as they decide to be content up there, it's going to be hard to get all the way to the front. But right now, Denny's doing a pretty nice job pulling some cars out of that outside lane.
I mean, he was way back like 11th or 12th, and he's already pulled himself right up here to 6th place.
But quite a speed differential, 3 miles an hour from the outside to that inside lane.
Yeah, but that outside has got it's nice and free, and you got a lot of momentum off the corner, but the bottom's the shortest route around here if you can get somebody to help you.
Well, that's what I was going to say, DW. You're absolutely right. As that lane on the outside goes all the way up to the wall, if you shortcut the corner, you can make up a ton of time. It's just you need enough cars to keep the momentum going down the straightaway.
And I'm not so sure that Hamlin's just not experimenting a little bit. I got to get down here and let me see what I can do without any help, and then if I get some help.
Kurt Busch, the 2004 Series champion, running in 15th place in his number 41.
We'll do updates randomly when you think of it, as far as when you see a majority of the cars starting to move to the top. I'm talking if there's 9 up top and 8 on the bottom, we got to know that. But that was all my fault. I saw the 88 trying to run the low groove. Now he moved up, and if he moves up, everybody moves up.
You know, guys, it's been interesting. This is the first race that Kurt Busch is working with Tony Raines as his new spotter. And that example of the audio we just heard there, Kurt explaining to Raines how some of his communication preferences, how he would prefer they be delivered, what the information is and when it is. In that particular instance, he was running inside the top 10, kind of got hung out and dropped back to 16th.
Well, Vince, listen, there's probably no place here in Talladega where you need the sponsor and you to be on the same page every inch of this racetrack.
Busch moves underneath Austin Dillon, a former pole sitter for the 500.
We're blowing up, man. What's your temps? Just keep an eye on them.
We can pit if we have to, Andy. We'll get the lucky dog when the caution comes out at 25 if we need to.
Andy Houston, the spotter, and Slugger Lagby, the crew chief there you see.
And what about Danica Patrick, Chris?
Well, she's having a strong night running in the 6th position right now, but she has said that car moving around a lot more than it did on Sunday, and also the oil temperature way too high. It's flashing red on her digital dash right now. The team telling her just try and stick the nose out, get some fresh air, and we'll make some changes on this first stop.
Yeah, it's a little cooler. You know, the wet temps are maybe not as high. Got a little too much tape on the grill. They can adjust that at lap 25.
There's Denny Hamlin's digital dash, the big bar graph. The tachometer. He chooses digital readouts for the other gauges.
You know, one of the things that happens when those cars are in line, they're carrying a lot of speed into the corner. Those cars will move around more than you think. You don't have to be in a big pack. Sometimes you can even be single file, but 5 or 6 cars back to feel the effects of the draft and that dirty air.
Mike, if you can just put just a little wee bit more tape on your grill than the other guy, you've got a little bit of an advantage, and that's what you're looking for here is a little bit advantage.
Yeah, the grill opening at a speedway like Daytona and Talladega is in a different location. It's up in the front bumper area. And NASCAR mandates that opening be so big, so the dimensions are determined. That way you don't open it way up because it almost matches up with the rear bumper of the car in front of you that hurts the airflow.
Well, one thing you don't want to hurt on these cars is the airflow. Because they are aero dependent.
19 laps complete. Caution flag coming at 25.
I haven't seen a race. I haven't seen cars do this, run around the top following somebody.
Since Dale Jr. was in
I don't know how long ago it was. It's been a long time ago.
Ryan Blaney, the 21, David Reagan in the number 38, both Fords. Running nose to tail.
And everybody's content. Nobody's stepping out of line. Everybody's just riding along here, trying to get to lap 25, I guess.
And 3 spots behind them sits our newly minted 7-time champ, Jimmie Johnson. Jamie.
Bottom line right now is he knocks off a couple positions. Jimmie Johnson, remember on Sunday in the Clash, he had a heck of a time. Car was so loose, he crashed not once, but twice. And this guy likes to drive a loose car, so he just wants to finish these laps, get some information. And by the way, the high for Sunday is supposed to be 68. Right now, 68 degrees. A little something to be learned here.
Oh. Well, they've got a lot to learn, trying to suss out what happened Sunday to Jimmie Johnson in the Clash. You'll see it here on the right first. Car gets loose. He gets into Kurt Busch. Kurt gets to the wall. Jimmy's able to continue. But then a little later, the car gets away from him, and his race ends at the inside barrier.
Yeah, listen, 68 at night. I know it's a night race. 68 degrees, pretty nice. 68 degrees on Sunday with the sun shining. It feels like it's 168 out there on the track.
All I know is if Jimmie Johnson is losing the car by himself, that guy can drive a loose race car.
Yeah.
They had to make some adjustments. Looks like their 500 cars, all the Hendrick cars seem to not only have good speed, but also are driving a lot better than what we saw in the Clash.
I've always said Jimmie Johnson, I don't know that a lot of people could drive Jimmie Johnson's car as free as he runs that car. And you know that. You've tried his setups, and they're hard to hang on to.
Loose is fast, but not here at Daytona.
You know what else is running at 8,000 RPM? us. I think it's time for our first Fox NASCAR Crank It Up of the 2017 season.
Let's do it.
Do it.
Coming outside. There's no hold. 41. Clear to the bottom if you want it. One back, too wide, one back, too wide, half back, too wide, inside. Watch the top here, got to run, come here outside, outside. Back inside with the 77. He has no help except for the 41, two back of us. Clear. Outside 13. One's coming to help here. Curl around. 41 is gone. Inside only, 3 in your mirror. Side draft a little bit, see what you got. Seven. Two back now, 48. No hold, still out there. Five. When we get back, we'll race till they...
Now those spotters are high on the roof above us, the toughest places for them to work, looking at the cars tails away as they head for turn 1 and coming off turn 4 where they're just heading straight at us. There's our chief spotter, Kevin Clark, at work. Visor cam as he helps director Artie Kempner.
Let's know spotters pretty familiar with things they're saying, things you hear. But you know what? You very seldom ever hear anymore. She blowed up. We never hear that anymore.
Well, the caution will come out as they go to the back straightaway, completing 25 laps. This is the competition caution for race 2 because these cars also did not get a chance to practice. And of 25 laps, Denny Hamlin led 2. Dale Earnhardt Jr. led all the rest.
I think Dale Jr. is going, yeah, that's pretty much the way I had it planned.
Yeah, right. It's good to be back.
Man, that was easy.
Oh, it's good to be back.
And another Earnhardt, Jeffrey, will get the free pass. He's the first of 2 cars, 1 lap down. Larry McReynolds.
Yeah, let's look at our Fox Aero track. We've been seeing a lot of single car draft here. And what I've got here, I'm going to show you what 3 cars works like. Now you're going to see this is the lead car. Red is high pressure, yellow is low pressure. And as those 2 cars come up, you can see it takes a lot of that high pressure on the nose of the second and third car and turns it into a much higher pressure. But you see here, it still has all that high pressure on the nose of that car right there, and in between here are like bubbles of air. But the biggest thing that happens to the lead car is it takes pressure off that deck lid right there, and it reduces the drag. And that's how those 3 cars are faster in a line than if they were running side by side. It's almost like they become almost like one car.
Yeah, Larry, that's a great graphic, and it just shows when you get 3, 4, 5 cars lined up, it takes, you have to break that momentum. You have to get enough of a run and enough cars and energy on that inside lane, let's say, to go up there and break that up. Once you break that up, all opportunities come to life.
Yeah, it's like a wake off a boat. I mean, it's really what it's like. The boat breaks the water, and, you know, and everybody can fall in behind you. It's free ride.
Well, pit road is open. You're going to fill up with Sunoco race fuel. How many tires you want?
I think I'm going to get me 2.
Well, I think, again, like the last race, those that are in the top 5 or 6 positions, their cars are driving pretty good. They'll probably take 2. Those behind will take 4. What do you think, Larry?
That's why I like being in duel number 2. I saw what happened in duel number 1. 2 tires won that race.
Exactly. That's what I saw.
All right, Vince.
Hey, David Reagan is running 4th. Go back a few years, his last win in the Cup Series, Talladega 2013, with this team, Front Row Motorsports. He's back with Front Row looking for more success. Car's a little free, so they're going to take just 2 tires to tighten it up. Jamie?
And Ryan Blaney, their little strategy call, started 9th, worked his way up to 3rd. No tires there, a small adjustment just to help the balance, Matt.
Right side tires for Dale Earnhardt Jr., no changes on the 5. His teammate, Casey Kane, no changes as well.
And picking up 15 positions was number 15, Michael Waltrip. Well, you have to buy tires.
Did he even take fuel
to put them on?
I think he just drove through. Stop. Good man. Good man.
Oh, yeah, he just clipped it.
Clipped that 3rd one.
Yeah. Welcome back to Daytona in the 2nd race of the Can-Am Duel to set the 500 starting lineup. Let's take a look at tonight's Ford Performance Track Facts. The last Ford driver to win a dual race and the 500 in the same season was Matt Kenseth 5 years ago. Junior Johnson was the first Ford winner in a dual race. That was 1965.
The banana car. Yellow. Looked like a banana.
Denny Hamlin exiting his pit. You're allowed to drive through the next 3 pit boxes. He clipped the 4th one.
We just talked about this at dinner last night, and he said this year you just can't afford to do these kind of things.
1, 2,
clip.
3.
Room right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not by much, but you know, he's trying to get a straight launch that gives you as much speed, acceleration as you possibly can get, but you got to make sure that you don't clip that 4th box.
So he will start tail end of the line when we get the restart. Now, Michael Waltrip We were kidding, folks. He did buy tires. Apparently, he could not get into his pit stall.
I think that was a problem.
So he just drove through. He came back around and got fuel and tires.
Yeah. Good to go.
Now, we listened in on Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus talking about how that car is handling.
Are you needed to lift an awful lot then, Charlie?
No, I'm obviously flinching a little bit based on Thursday, but it's so much more controllable to slide it, but it's a different type of loose.
Do you feel we're slow?
I feel my car is too sensitive to side drafting. I feel it's really damn fast in a straight line when I don't have anybody side drafting me.
Yeah, so I mean, he's certainly still having a little bit of a loose condition, but doesn't seem to be hindering them where they feel like they need to make any big adjustments. And a lot of that is just track position. He was a little bit further back. He's going to have some of that, like a lot of the other competitors as well. But he sounds like he has a fast race car.
Plus, it's at night. You're going to have a little bit more grip. Car's going to feel a little bit better. And that sounds like that's all it is a little bit better.
Yeah, that's true. And they have to remember that on Sunday for the Daytona 500, even though, as Jamie Little said, it's going to be about the same ambient temperature, that track temperature is going to be quite a bit warmer. It will definitely be slicker than this.
When that sun shines on this baby, she gets slick. For what the temp is.
So Ryan Blaney will lead them back to green with Dale Earnhardt Jr. alongside. Casey Kane, David Reagan, Kyle Larson, Ty Dillon.
Auto 21 car. I think can run now. It's pretty fast.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for the Wood brothers and Ryan Blaney, one of our young up-and-coming stars, and he's got his work cut out for him against one of the best out there, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
That kid right there, Leonard Wood, he was the absolute master back in the day, and still pretty darn good.
Who's this sport's Thomas Edison? Let's see how the 21 fares as we're back to green with 30 laps to go.
Boy, he wanted to, I think Ryan wanted to get up in front of Dale Jr., but he thought better of it.
Yeah, he certainly did. You know, you saw how Dale Jr. got right to the corner of his. Look at this side draft. We showed that graphic earlier, and that's what I was going to say. Jr. got right to the corner of that bumper and pulled him backwards. Now he's going to not only pull him backwards, but get a little bit of help from behind.
Ryan Blaney, third-generation driver from a great Ohio racing family of sprint car racers and champions.
Don't look now, but look who's pushing Dale Earnhardt Jr., David Reagan.
A second-generation driver and a past winner here at Daytona.
Pretty darn good on the restrictor plate tracks.
All right, we listened in on the 88.
The 21's saving fuel. Is there any reason why we ought to be doing that? No, we're good to go. They might have timed their stop quicker. I'm not sure. They were pretty fast, so. Yeah, they did fuel only, so we're good.
That was during the caution laps. Blaney shutting it off to save fuel. Timmy Hill comes to the pits, and this will likely end his chance of making the Daytona 500.
Look at that move right there.
Whoa.
Here comes Casey Kane, a big push to Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I told you when they went back to green this time, we wouldn't be that follow the leader stuff.
Blaney made a great move, got to the quarter panel of the 88, but Casey Kane gets loose.
Wow.
He got bumped by David Reagan.
Yeah, Reagan gave him a little shot getting in the corner, loosened him up, almost spun him out.
Business
Casey Kane in the 5. Woo! Hang on, son.
You know, there's just those vulnerable places on the racetrack when you go in and out of the transitions from flat straightaway to banking. You got to be careful how tight you are on the rear bumper of that car in front of you.
Big loser there was rookie Eric Jones, went all the way back to 15.
Now, these two cats right here, the 21 of Blaney and the 42 of Larson, that's two cars that could be trouble for Dale Jr. if they got hooked up.
You can see the 5's right on the rear bumper of the 88, and
bam. Bam.
Little bump right in that transition that I talked about, so vulnerable, and that almost turned the 5 of Casey Kane around.
But Jeff, do you see how that backed up? I mean, the 38 hit the 5, the 13 hit the 38, and the 41 hit the car in front of him. It just bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, and the whole momentum of that lane shifts at that moment.
Yep.
Right now, DJ Kennington, the Canadian, in the race-in spot. It'll be he or Reed Sorensen getting the final spot in the 500 field.
Big push coming from the 42, the 21. He's probably going to get a run on Junior here if Junior doesn't block it.
Boy, he's right,
Junior. Whoa, look at this. Boy, that 21 is fast.
I'm telling you.
Making some great moves. I don't think he's going to clear him here. I think Junior's going to get back to his quarter panel. Now he's got the help of Larson.
Or back to your help.
Yeah, that's exactly what Dale Jr. needed, was for Kyle Larson to get in behind him. Blaney's going to be left hung out to dry here.
Jimmy Johnson gives a little bump drive getting in the corner. Ryan Blaney. I'm impressed with Ryan Blaney and the job he's doing.
I know 21 cars always fast.
Remember, he doesn't have the tires that some of these others have as well.
Earnhardt, Larson, Kane, and now Blaney joins them in the outside.
Big break for Ryan Blaney right there to jump into that outside lane.
We could very well get lined back up here and have a single file.
He's not content, though.
Again,
he doesn't want to stay in that outside lane.
I like that. Proud of that boy. Go for it.
Whoa, Junior getting up in front of the 42 Larson. Boy, everything is shaken up now since that caution. Big run by the 5 cars. Is he going to take advantage? Yeah. To the quarter panel of the 42 Larson.
Drops down, gets a little help
here.
here.
Look who's coming with it. David Reagan up in the middle.
Reagan's aggressive, man. He's putting it in those holes in the middle there.
Now, this is pretty much the way we were sitting before that caution came out. Teammates Casey Kane and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And Reagan now has help from Kurt Busch up the middle. Jamie.
And before that last caution, the 21er Ryan Blaney told his team, I'm just a little too loose. If you guys tighten me up a little bit, I can be aggressive when I need to be. That's exactly what he has here. He can put that car where he wants to be.
Boy, he can, and he is doing it too. Goodness gracious.
And every time he gets a run, he's taking that run and making moves. That was impressive. He made a move all by himself right there to get around Casey Kane.
The last time that number 21 went to victory lane in the duel, 1980, the driver, Neil Bonnet. .24 to go, and Denny Hamlin has rebounded from his penalty up into the top 7 now alongside Kurt Busch for 6.
Hamlin's fast. I mean, I think he was playing around that first 25 laps there. He's fast. I bet he gets up there and gives Junior some competition for us over with.
And this is where Jimmy Johnson's sitting there looking in his mirror saying, if I could just keep this 11 behind me, but he makes a move to go the outside. Casey Kane.
Jimmy Johnson said, if I can just keep this 48 under me, I'll be all right. He said he's fast in a straight line, a little iffy in the corner, but he's hanging on to it pretty good right now.
I don't know. I'd like to have that 11 of Denny Hamlin behind me. He seems to be a really fast pusher.
What is Dale Earnhardt Jr. doing differently than Chase Elliott did in a very similar car in race 1? Anything?
Well, I think he's doing a lot of the same. He's being really aggressive, blocking these big runs that are coming from behind.
He's doing a great job of blocking the guys that have the momentum, the guys that are with the runs. He's breaking that down and keeping them behind him.
Matt.
Mike, multitasking, small picture looking for the win here tonight. Big picture looking at a win on Sunday in the 500. Giving a detailed description of the adjustments they need to make to his mirrors inside that race car. Also telling spotter TJ Majors that he needs to possibly upgrade his equipment because Greg Ives comes through, cuts through so much more clear.
Well, there's no question in my mind, TJ Majors has been one of the best spotters that there's been in this sport for a long time.
10-4. Right here with you. They're in line with him in the rear. They're in line with him. No pushes or anything. Just in line. 21, 48. All up top with you. 41's working the bottom for 4th here. He's inside Jimmy for 3rd now. 21's still clear. 21 is still clear. No push. Getting a big shove on the high side behind him. 21's still clear by 2. He's clear by 2. He is clear by 1. He's clear by 1. He's inside the 21 your mirror, inside of the bottom there. Protect the bottom, protect the bottom. Here comes the 48. Here he comes. Make him help you. He cleared that 21. He's getting up behind you. He's getting up behind you. And he did. He's in line with you.
So calm and collected at 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, and I'm watching that 48, and I don't think that car's as stuck to the racetrack as good as Jimmy would like for it to be, but he is driving the heck out of it.
21 laps to go in Daytona.
Little boy's wheeling it now, I'm telling you.
$18 laps to go in Daytona. Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to do what his Hendrick Chevy teammate Chase Elliott did earlier. Start on the front row of the 500, win his Can-Am Duel. Oh, smoke from Blaney's car.
Uh-oh. Did he get in the wall or what? I think he may have.
Eric Jones, the rookie.
Oh, man, that's a shame. He was doing an awesome job.
Smoke abating there, but there's David Reagan coming right up behind him.
Bam, bam.
Oh, that's
wow,
actually the 48.
Yeah, a lot of contact. Woo.
And then the 5 just shot by those guys.
The 21.
I think there's damage to the left rear.
He's got a tire going down.
Yeah.
They just saw rubber flying out from under it. He's coming to the pits.
So you can see the 48 side drafting. As the 38 comes up here, it looks like he gets in the quarter panel of the 48, turns him into the 21.
Exactly. There's some contact on back here with the 77, too. He reacted to that.
That's why you got to be so careful side drafting down that back straightaway. You never can tell what that car in that lane behind you is necessarily going to do.
Here's what happened to Eric Jones, the rookie.
He's probably going to get some nose damage.
Yeah, he got a shot.
He couldn't anticipate them slowing down like that.
A.J. Allmendinger hit the brakes. Now they're on pit road now, and they are on the 5-minute damage repair clock. If they can't get that car back out and back to minimum speed, they'll have to go to the garage.
I hate that for the 21 bunch. That car was awesome.
I think all they need to do is pull that left rear out. But that's pretty heavy damage, this left front of Eric Jones.
Yeah.
Jamie?
And crew chief Jeremy Bullen's giving explicit directions to his team. Be very careful. Let's be very calculated. Right sides and then drop it. Let him go out. Come back in and we'll put it on the left side. And the 77 of Eric Jones, you guys, he was so stressed coming into this race. And now you see how his night is going to be.
Jones back on track, 1 lap down. And did Jimmy Johnson get some damage and all that?
He had to have. I just don't know if it's in the areas that are going to cave in those quarter panels or the fender wells on the tires. So he might be clear there, but he definitely got some damage.
Yeah. Meanwhile, up here at the front, guys,
look at that right front smoking on the 48.
He's got some damage that right front for sure. But that 11 car is coming, boys.
Riding along. Wow. Oh yeah, that's pretty heavy damage.
In and out. 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 In and out.
I'm really curious to know if that 48 team and Chad Knaus was watching the video we just showed and seeing some of that smoke coming out the right front. I think we got some audio here from the 48.
I have some right side damage. Am I smoking? Someone turn me.
Take it easy down there, pal. Take it easy. Make sure it doesn't go down.
To you?
I don't know, man. You need to tell me how bad it's rubbing. I cannot tell. Bring it to us if you want to pit, man.
Boy, that's as calm as I've ever heard Chad Knaus in a situation like this.
It's down. Right front's down. You saw the sparks.
Come on, yeah.
Caution for Jimmy Johnson. His speed week has not gone well. 2 spins in the clash. And now this collision.
The good news here is he was right up against the wall when it went down. So I mean, there's damage there. They're going to be on the 5-minute clock. Here's the problem right here. Look at that right front fender where it's broken apart. They cannot fix that, or they'll have a tough time fixing that in 5 minutes. Jamie?
And that's exactly what they're discussing right now, Jeff. They're going back and forth. Chad Knaus, Jimmy Johnson. Chad said it's pretty messed up. I don't know if we can fix it here in 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Jimmy Johnson's saying, but I think we can get a better starting spot, so let's try.
Well, let's explain this rule. NASCAR this year implemented this new procedure because cars that went to the garage and lost a lot of laps getting pieced back together would come back out on track, but none of them ever finished higher than 35th in an actual point race.
Yeah, it's a little wad right here. These guys in the 38 runs up there behind the 21. I think he clips the left rear or the right rear of the 48 and turns him into the 21. David Reagan had 38 car.
And Mike, to follow up on what you're saying, I've even seen before, I know I've been in a situation where they patched my car up and I didn't feel real comfortable being out there. No. And we've seen cars have failures, maybe another cut tire because they didn't really fix it. Or maybe there was something that was damaged that you couldn't see because they did it so quick to get back out there. And not only do they damage their car, maybe cause injury to their own driver, but take other innocent victims out as well on the track.
And Mike, when you go in the garage on Sunday morning, the crash carts and the stuff they would set up in the garage to repair cars, I mean, they could almost put a snout on a car. They had so much equipment down there.
So the new rule says you're allowed 5 minutes from the time you enter pit road to the time you exit pit road to make repairs. You can do it in one or multiple stops, but it's a cumulative total of 5 minutes you're allowed. If you can't fix it in that amount of time and get back up to minimum speed, you're out of the race.
Well, here's one of my questions that go along with this. You talk about this 5-minute clock, and it starts when they, come on to pit road, but also it doesn't end till they get off the exit of pit road. So right there, Chad Knaus was having to calculate, or someone on his team was calculating how long it was going to take the 48 car to get to the end of pit road after he left the box. Larry?
One thing you have to make sure, this happened to Kyle Larson and his crew in the Clash the other day. You cannot have more than 6 men over the wall. If you ever end up with 7, it's like you're out of the race. You're going to the garage area.
And Larry, that thing is even now going not even up to racing speed, is sparking, is hitting the ground pretty hard.
Now, NASCAR scoring keeps track of that cumulative time. We have it unofficially as 1:44 for the 48 car. And prior to this stop, 2 minutes, 12 seconds for the 21, adding to that time now.
I think we underestimate how impressive these teams and how much work they can get done in 5 minutes or less. Yes. I mean, that seemed to me like they were on pit road forever, but yet it was only, what, 1:40, you said, Mike?
Yes. And I like the job they did. I'm looking at the right front tire. It looks like the toe is pretty good, but I do see some sparks flying out from the car, even not up to total racing speed.
Eric Jones will get the free pass on this caution. Take him from 2 to 1 lap down. Timmy Hill out of the race with engine trouble. DJ Kennington in the race-in position in the number 96. That's between he and Elliott Sadler for that spot. And there is the Canadian driver Kennington. Had a great career in the series north of the border, the touring series of NASCAR. Pit road's open this time.
Might have some takers back in the back. We see them creeping down like they're thinking about it. Oh, yeah.
Pretty well set at the front.
Those that are coming in right now are saying things are about to get wild. We better get some grip on these cars.
I think about Kyle Busch coming in and getting 4 tires. It didn't help him a bit. So Chris Neville.
And Danica Patrick not as happy with her car tonight as she was on Sunday, saying when things get hectic in the draft, the car just moving around way too much. Vince?
David Reagan had a little bit of contact with Ryan Blaney on that previous situation. A little right front fender pull, but otherwise not much damage. 4 tire change for the 38 of Reagan.
Danica Patrick pitted from 11th. How hard a hit did Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Blaney have? Was that hard? We're under caution.
Yeah, that 38 caused all that.
Hey,
Okay.
If you didn't like what was happening before, you really.
The restart will come with 9 laps to go. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has lane choice. He's elected the inside, so he will have a Chevy behind him, Kyle Larson, instead of a Toyota of Denny Hamlin.
All right, Dale Earnhardt Jr., we're scanning his radio, and he's telling his spotter to go tell Kyle Larson's spotter, watch my left hand out the window. That's what he did with Denny Hamlin at the start of the race. He's going to give Kyle Larson a signal when he's going to go once they're back to the restart box.
These restarts have become so important in that momentum, and you need that push from behind. So if you can get a little bit of an edge by, taking your hand and motioning out the window of when you're going to go, it gives you an edge over those on the outside lane.
Well, the Ganassi car pushed Chase Elliott to victory, and here we got a Ganassi car behind Dale Jr., and here he goes.
Called his shot to Kyle Larson, but Earnhardt takes off with a car length of air between himself and his pursuers.
Yeah, and you don't want to get too big of a gap, but he might be able to get up in front of his teammate Casey Kane, who's got a huge push coming from Denny Hamlin.
That 11 car is the one I've been watching, and he's been working his way to the front, and he's got a fast race car. But Junior's got to feel pretty good if he gets to 5 and the 42 lined up there with him.
Well, Larson was able to just squeeze up in front of Hamlin, but now he's going to drop down, and I think Hamlin's going to get a run on the outside.
Austin Dillon up there trying to push the 11 too.
Now Kyle Larson was getting some advice from his car owner Chip Ganassi during this caution.
Hey Derek, you're gonna have to walk him through these last 10 laps here or so. Okay? Walk him through there. Larson, just pay attention to the spotter here. Stay in line. 10-4.
Chip Ganassi certainly has a lot of experience with drivers over the years, but I think that's coming from because Larson has not shown a lot of confidence in his abilities on the restrictor plates. He's like, I just don't quite have it figured out. So I think that's Chip Ganassi's way of saying, hey, spotter, help him out.
You see who's running second, don't you? That's the guy that I've been watching, and he has made some incredible moves to get himself into second place. Denny Hamlin out of 11.
Now all 3 cars that were damaged have reached minimum speed. So those clocks are off and no longer a factor. They're coming to 7 laps to go.
I think of just about any car out there that Dale Earnhardt Jr. didn't want to see in his mirror, it's probably Denny Hamlin.
He
was feeling pretty comfortable when he had Casey Kane, his teammate, behind him.
Michael Waltrip had a little bit of contact with Michael McDowell back racing for 13th.
Oh, there's that left rear corner.
Oh,
we
yeah.
Talk about.
Goodness.
Wow, great save
Great
by Michael Waltrip.
Hang on to her, buddy.
I mean, that's that area. If you get to that left rear, it's going to turn the car sideways, especially as you come into the banking, into the turn.
I tell you, this is setting up to be quite a finish, guys. The Hamlin's not going to be happy to run second, I can tell you that.
No, he's definitely not content.
Elliott Sadler to 16th. And remember, Hamlin restarted at the back of the pack. He rebounded for that speeding penalty. You saw DJ Kennington trying to race his way into the 500.
Mike, another car that has come from pretty far back is Austin Dillon, who's running 3rd right now. So looking in pretty good shape.
Well, right now, as long as these two are side by side, there's really not a big push that Denny Hamlin's going to be able to get. He's going to have to back up to one of these cars, get a big push. That lane's got to get momentum to give him enough momentum, and he's got to let Dale Jr. get out there far enough to where he can make a move that Dale Jr. can't block.
It's going to be very, very interesting to see how this plays out.
Larson getting up to the inside of Hamlin.
Coming to the line, they'll have 5 laps to figure it out.
See, we saw this in race 1 in Duel 1 where Jamie McMurray, who's Kyle Larson's teammate, had some great speed, made some aggressive moves. Now we're starting to see it out of his teammate Kyle Larson as well.
Well, that's Hendrick Power in that 48 car, or in that 42 car, I'm sorry. And I think that's what Ganassi was relaying to his driver.
Hey,
use your head.
Didn't this guy say, hey, if we can fix it, we can get out there and make up some positions. That's a better starting position than the 500. He's still out there getting it done, even with that damage.
He's 9th right now. If he finishes there, he'd start 18th.
Better than going to the garage.
Yep.
For sure.
Boy, what a night for Hendrick Motorsports and Chip Ganassi Racing.
Oh, big push coming from the 3 car. behind Kyle Larson. He was right on his bumper, really pushing him. I think chance. Yeah, Junior got to block that inside lane.
Jeff, this is going to take all. Oh, he can't.
Casey
Can he
Kane
get in
going
there?
to the middle. Boy,
Wow.
how did he make that happen?
Oh, wow.
That was
he
unreal.
wedged
Bringing
his
his
way.
teammate Jimmy Johnson with him.
He just wedged his way in there.
Now watch how this shakes everything up. That just broke up the momentum, and now all of a sudden moves will start being made that weren't there before.
This is going to take all the skill that Dale Jr.'s got, all of his drafting knowledge, all the knowledge about air to be able to hang on and win this thing.
Wow. Out there. Still got help.
Watch this. This is what you call wedging yourself in.
That's an unbelievably aggressive move right there.
Still with you.
Didn't even say excuse me.
In and out.
That's usually a move that happened a lap or two before that. He may have seen Ryan Newman leaving that gap open the time before that as he came through the trial. He said the next time he leaves that opening, I'm going for it.
3 laps to go. Denny Hamlin in second. What does he need to have happen here?
And he needs somebody to go with him. You never know what Hamlin's thinking. He might be thinking, I'm going to wait till the last lap. I'm going to get this cat. I'm just not real sure at this point. I know Austin Dillon and him have been working really well to get to this point.
Yeah, I think what he needs is he needs the 3, the 41 to sort of get clear of the 42, break away, and build enough momentum and let Junior get out there and then take a big run at him.
Well, they're running out of time. 2 laps to go this time by.
The only other thing I can think of that may materialize a move for Hamlin is if Junior picks the wrong lane at the wrong time and tries to block the inside lane and allows Hamlin to get to the outside of him.
I think Hamlin's going to try to do what Keselowski did to him in the clash last week. I think Hamlin's going to try to make a dive move on Junior on the last lap.
Remember what that took. That took 2 teammates, 2 cars working together, getting a big run, a big push, and going into the corner and getting outside their mirror where that lead car can't block it.
I tell you, that 3 car is going to be, he's right there helping.
All right, here it is. There it is. See, as soon as they broke free of the 42, that gave them the run.
This is bad news for Junior.
Yeah,
he's down there all by himself. Only hope he's got, come on, Larson, get up there and get behind Junior and push him.
Yeah, we're coming
to the white flag.
Yeah.
Denny Hamlin.
Too late.
Austin Dillon, Kurt Busch, and Clint Boyer.
Do you know that 3 car has the best average finish last year on all the restrictor plate tracks? And here he is. What a great run he's had tonight. Austin Dillon in the 3.
The timing of that just couldn't have been more perfect for Hamlin. But don't give this to Hamlin just yet. He's got 4 or 5 cars lined up behind him that might be able to do the same thing to him.
See if the 2 Stewart-Haas Fords hook up. They do. Busch to the outside. Boyer with him. Hamlin up to cover the spot.
Watch this. If that 14 can give him a big shot here, he might be able to make a move. The 41 and Kurt Busch. He's
Dillon
backing
and
up to him.
Backing up.
Teammates, 41-14.
Oh.
Hamlin pulling away.
Don't do it.
Off turn 4. Here they come to the stripe. Denny Hamlin for the win. Kurt Busch, Clint Boyer, teammates side by side for second.
I think Boyer may have clipped the 41 here at the line.
Good job, brother.
Boy, Denny Hamlin is so good on these restrictor plate tracks, especially his confidence he has with this team here at Daytona. He showed it last year as a Daytona 500 winner, and boy, that was impressive.
Timing is everything.
Yeah,
could not have timed that better.
It all he wasn't going to get that kind of momentum, that run, without that line breaking free of the 42. As soon as they broke free of that 42, he had a ton of momentum that Junior just couldn't do anything about.
No.
Here's the pass for the lead.
Here he comes.
See
down
how
the back.
Junior's pretty
Too
far out there?
Too far
Watch.
out.
Now, Hamlin knows that this push is coming from the 3.
Look at that momentum. Look how much that speeded him up.
And it was perfect timing because it was right as they went in the corner. Junior, if he went high, Hamlin goes low. If he goes low, Hamlin goes high.
And see, that's what I thought, that Hamlin would put that dive bomb on him and try to get by him, but he didn't have to.
Now coming to the stripe for the transfer spot into the 500, DJ Kennington has to race his way in. Has to beat Elliott Sadler in the 7 if he's going to make it into the race. And by 4/100ths of a second, the Canadian Kennington,
he made it,
will make the Daytona 500, and Elliott Sadler will get into the race on his qualifying speed.
Sorensen, did that affect Sorensen? Oh, he's out. Okay, thank you. Look at Coach.
third Duel win in his 12th appearance. Denny Hamlin comes from a pit penalty to victory lane.
Seconds in the Hollywood Hotel. And don't be coming on camera. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 to Chris.
Chris Myers welcoming you back live to Daytona. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on the track and on the road. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Denny Hamlin, last year's Daytona 500 winner, his 8th victory on this Daytona track, and Matt Yoakum is down there for the celebration.
A new contract for Denny Hamlin and some great restrictor plate racing gamesmanship there to come back from the penalty.
Yeah, it was great. Great FedEx Toyota. Great car, and got a great push there from Austin. We worked really well together that entire race. So keep that in mind in the 500. Looked like our cars were really good together. Can't thank this team enough. Great job. Wheels and FedEx announcing a renewal today. So this is a great sign of a great year, hopefully to come.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Chris?
All right, thank you very much. Coming up, by the way, in a few minutes here on FS1, Refuse to Lose, the 1997 Daytona 500. Background on Jeff Gordon. Right now, let's get Jeff Gordon's thoughts with Mike Joy and Darrell Waltrip before we wrap up.
Jeff, you said in that last big push by Denny Hamlin, you said two things happened right here.
Yeah, there's one thing that happened. The inside lane broke up a little bit. We see Jimmy Johnson go 3 wide inside Casey Kane. At that same time, this outside lane has a shift happening. That push from the 3 comes up behind the 11. The 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. nowhere to go. Great job by Denny Hamlin and Austin Dillon in that whole outside lane making that move happen.
But you got to remember something, Mike. 88, Dale Jr. didn't have to cut the 11 off. Right. He wants to start on the front row Sunday. If he had cut up in front of the 11, I'm not sure that they'd both be starting up front. So I think he made a really smart move and did what he needed to do.
So Dale Earnhardt Jr. retains his front row spot for the 500, and Denny Hamlin has a bad fast car. Jamie.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. very happy after that. Led 53 laps. You guys ended up 6th. You watched it right there. Anything you would do differently if this was Sunday in the Daytona 500?
I don't know what I could have done differently to defend that. Once I heard the 3 was clear on the outside, I knew they was going to have a big run. And Denny's so smart; he knows what he's doing out there. One of the better plate races out there. So I could have, either any which way I would have went, he was going to go the other way and probably get by me. I just was hoping Austin might push us a little bit since he drives a Chevy, but you know, I don't know if I'd have done it any different than he did either. But congratulations to Denny. They just had a good run at the end. I was doing what I could to keep the lead, but once they got clear of that inside lane, they built so much momentum real fast right there at the end of that back straightaway and had such a big run. So if it's Daytona 500, same thing. You know, ain't much you can do about that. It's not really defendable. So, you know, it's a good job by Denny and those guys putting it all together at the end.
Been 7 months. Good to see Dale Jr. back in a race. Good job. Chris?
Well, smiles and tears of joy over in DJ Kennington's pit. You raced your way into the Daytona 500. How does that feel?
Most amazing feeling in the world. Castro, Lordco, Dwight Kennedy from MVP, everybody who's made this happen for me, my dad, my whole family, just thanks everybody. This is one of the biggest moments of my life, and all the guys at work, everybody that pitches in to make me, so I could come and do this. Thanks everybody, I really appreciate it.
Congratulations. Vince?
Clint Boyer in his first race for Stewart-Haas Racing finishes second. How good does it feel to be up front again?
Oh, good. You know, you always want to win, but just super impressed with this team. You know, I mean, this is the one you've been waiting for, right? Mike and all these guys put a lot of hard work in bringing a fast car, and oh boy, did they. Man, it's just fun. I mean, the difference, you know, it just creates more opportunities. You know what I mean? I mean, you can just play offense the whole time out there. Obviously, that's the first time that I've had a chance to draft in this thing, practice or anything. So, some new gremlins that I need to work on. You know, just handling characteristics, driving characteristics that are, you know, I think adjustable for my likings. But you know, really proud and you know, happy to be running like that. Thanks to Tony and Gene Haas for giving me this opportunity, and Mobile One, Rush Truck Centers, Haas Automation, all the guys that make this go. This is going to be a fun year.
Yeah, well done, Clint. Second place for Clint Boyer. Chris?
All right, thank you very much. And Chase Elliott on the pole, winning the first duel, and then Denny Hamlin, defending Daytona 500 champ, winning the second duel. It's been over a couple of decades since we've had back-to-back Daytona 500 winners, and that's what Denny Hamlin will be trying to do. So here's the starting order. Row one, it's the Hendrick Chevrolets. Denny Hamlin right behind with McMurray, Kevin Harvick. In fact, we have 10 past Daytona 500 winners in Sunday's Great American Race, and 4 drivers who won the Daytona 500 multiple times. Danica Patrick, who has run well here. Remember, she sat on the pole a few years ago in a strong finish, getting some points in the second duel race. Daniel Suarez, one of the rookies. He's a driver from Mexico. We'll have a driver from Mexico and from Canada in Sunday's Daytona 500. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. There's Jimmy Johnson. A rough start to Speed Weeks, but that doesn't seem to matter with the 7-time champion and 2-time Daytona 500 winner. The feel-good story for Corey LaJoie a month ago got the ride and gets in, creating a little heartbreak for Reed Sorensen, and failing to make the field, Timmy Hill and Reed Sorensen on the rough side of things. With Jeff Gordon, Mike Joy, Darrell Waltrip, Jamie Little, Matt Yoakum, Vince Welch, and for Michael Waltrip, I'm Chris Myers. We appreciate you being a part of NASCAR on FS1. Don't forget Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern over on Fox, the pre-race show for the Great American Race. The winners tonight, Chase Elliott and then Denny Hamlin. Time now for the debut of Refuse to Lose, Jeff Gordon, and the story of the 1997 Daytona 500.